Chapter 3361. After burning all his bloodline power, Knight Sorrow activated the Tristrimsa Combat Mystic Art and Destruction Mystic Art again. He used the Divine Origin Trap Array, 100-word mantra, and Extreme Flame Motherchild Spears again. Boom! The attack landed on the Holy Frost Spirit's body again. This time, the attack had a certain effect. It directly shattered half of the Holy Frost Spirit's body. And this attack was exactly what the Frost Holy Spirit had been waiting for. After being hit by this attack, the Frost Holy Spirit's body quickly recovered. After it recovered, its body was no different from a fourth-stage half-step Supreme Realm. It was just a little weaker in terms of strength. Ha ha ha. Thank you for your attack. I'm invincible now. Sensing that the Frost Holy Spirit had completely transformed into a Holy Spirit, it laughed heartily. In its opinion, Knight Sorrow's attack was completely helpful. It's too early for you to be happy. Do you think I only know how to attack repeatedly? Void Extreme Flame Palm. Right at this moment, Knight Sorrow suddenly roared loudly, and then he suddenly slapped his palm towards the Ice Saint Spirit. This palm strike was the result of his research on the Void Severing Palm, as well as his understanding of bloodline power and other types of power. Because it was the first time he attacked, Knight Sorrow was not sure what kind of effect it would have. But he felt that the Void Extreme Flame Palm was more likely to destroy the Frost Holy Spirit's body than the Extreme Flame Motherchild Spears. Do you think I'll just stay here and take your attacks? Ice Epoch. The Frost Holy Spirit, whose strength had been raised to the highest level, attacked with his own attack. The moment he attacked, the void in front of him and Knight Sorrow immediately froze. It slowed down Knight Sorrow's Void Extreme Flame Palm by a lot. At this moment, the void transmitted a message to the astral origin. Think of a way to destroy the Ice Epoch. Yes, Master. The celestial body origin responded and released endless flames into the surroundings. Under its control, these flames quickly fought against the ice summoned by the Frost Holy Spirit. As the saying went, water and fire were incompatible. Ice and fire were even more incompatible. They fought against each other and started to devour each other. However, the Holy Frost Spirit's seal on Knight Sorrow had weakened significantly. Under such circumstances, Knight Sorrow added the 9 steps of the Defiant of the Heavens and the Ocean Wandering Dragon to the Void Extreme Flame Palm. He raised his foot to a certain degree and slammed it towards the Holy Frost Spirit. Just as the Holy Frost Spirit was about to escape, Knight Sorrow suddenly cast a virtuous trapping formation on it. The Holy Frost Spirit, who originally thought that this was still the Divine Essence trapping formation, saw that it was trapped again and said disdainfully, "Looks like the methods you know are really simple. Now that my strength has been raised to the 4th grade of the half-step Supreme Realm, I can break your trap formation with a flick of my finger." In the eyes of the Holy Frost Spirit, Knight Sorrow's actions were laughable. However, right after he attacked the trapping array, he immediately suffered a backlash from the power of virtue. The Holy Frost Spirit became extremely weak the moment it was hit by the power of virtue. At that instant, Knight Sorrow slammed his palm onto the Holy Frost Spirit's body, shattering it instantly. At the same time, he transmitted his voice, "Little 5, hurry up and do it." "Okay. I've already prepared it." Little 5 responded and used the Eternal Divine Tower to absorb the broken pieces of the Holy Ice Spirit into the Eternal Divine Tower. When the Holy Frost Spirit regained its body in the Eternal Divine Tower, it was dumbfounded. It realized that it had been trapped in a boundless world. It had the strength of a 4th grade half-step Supreme Realm, but it could not use it at all. At that moment, it roared unwillingly. What was that energy just now? The power of virtue. It's specially used to restrain demons like you. Wait until I'm done with your companions, then I'll interrogate you. Knight Sorrow instantly heaved a sigh of relief after controlling the strongest Holy Frost Spirit. At that moment, the Green Leopard was having a hard time fighting. It was constantly being suppressed by the Holy Frost Spirit in front of it. It had already retreated hundreds of thousands of miles. Knight Sorrow flew for a while before he came close. He said, "My opponent has been dealt with. Now, I'll help you." "Thank you, Brother Night Demon. These things are really difficult to deal with." When the green leopard saw that Night Sorrow had come to help, he instantly felt relieved. Just as he was about to relax, the holy ice spirit conjured an ice spear and thrust it toward his dantian. Seeing this attack, the green leopard shouted, "This is bad." Because he could not dodge this attack at all. At that moment, Night Sorrow smiled and said, "With me here, it won't be bad." As he spoke, he used the divine origin trap array and imprisoned the ice spear 100 meters away from the green leopard. Then, he struck out with his palm and directly shattered it. "Thank you, Brother Night Demon, for saving my life. I, the green leopard, won't say any more words of thanks. After we get out, if you need anything, just ask." "All right. When the time comes, I won't be courteous." Night Sorrow said and continued, "Next, let's quickly take down the holy frost spirit in front of us. Otherwise, accidents will happen to the others if we delay too long." "All right. I'll fully cooperate with you." The green leopard agreed. Facing such a strange creature, even he felt very uncomfortable. Not to mention Yan Hongmei, Wan Ren, Man Wang, and the rest. Under the joint attack of Night Sorrow and the green leopard, although the holy frost spirit in front of them tried its best to fight back, it was still shattered by Night Sorrow's void flaming palm in the end. After shattering it, Night Sorrow did not give it a chance to reassemble. Instead, he got Xiaowu to keep it in the Eternal Divine Tower. "Brother Night Demon, you're amazing. With your talent and skills, you'll definitely become a pillar of the Killer Heaven Academy in the future. Unfortunately, we're all sinners of the Killer Heaven Academy. Even if we get out, we'll be targeted." The green leopard praised and said at the same time. "Hee, Brother Green Leopard, you must be joking. If I wasn't a sinner in their eyes, why would I be exiled to the mass burial star region? We're all in the same boat." Night Sorrow said with a smile. Hearing this, the green leopard immediately said, "I didn't expect that with your talent, Brother Night Demon, you would still be treated like this. The vice principals of the Killer Heaven Academy are really blind now. Vice Principal Ji Xian valued my talent, but I killed Nangong and Andrew's people, so I was exiled here." As Night Sorrow spoke, he brought the green leopard to help Yan Hongmei. She was facing the holy frost spirit alone, and the pressure was even greater than the green leopard. However, her tenacity was obviously stronger than the green leopard. Under the situation of being suppressed, she had been gritting her teeth and persevering. She did not ask for help at all. "So you're also Andrew and Nangong's enemy?" Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the green leopard immediately looked as if he had seen one of his own. When he came in, he was not Vice Principal Ji Xian's man, but he was definitely Andrew and Nangong's enemy. "I'll definitely take revenge for my grudge with them in the future. If you also have a grudge with them, I can bring you along." While helping Yan Hongmei, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to the green leopard. Chapter 3362. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Green Leopard immediately sent a voice transmission. "If Brother Night Sorrow can help me take revenge, I will follow you. Green Leopard will serve you for the rest of my life." "Oh. Brother Green Leopard, do you have a huge grudge against Andrew and Nangong He?" Night Sorrow, who was fighting against the Holy Ice Spirit, asked through voice transmission. After suppressing 2 of them in a row, he already had the confidence and means to deal with the Holy Ice Spirit. The battle was no longer as difficult as before. "The grudge is huge. Andrew killed my wife with his own hands. Nangong He killed my parents with her own hands. Later on, they took the supreme treasure of my race, a half-step Supreme Realm 5th grade divine artifact, the Peerless Green Scepter. In the end, they threw me into the chaotic burial star field on the charge of betraying the Academy. They let me suffer the torture of losing my family forever." Qing Bao enunciated each word through voice transmission. His hatred for Andrew and Nangong He was much greater than Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used the power of virtue to judge and confirmed that Green Leopard's words were not exaggerated at all. He immediately said, "Our enemies are the same. If we can get out, we can take revenge together." However, they are all 4th grade powerhouses, and the forces behind them are huge. Our strength is a little weaker, so we need to wait for revenge. I can wait. I can wait for my whole life. But with my strength, I can't take revenge at all. Brother Night Devil, please accept me. Green Leopard said through voice transmission. He might as well surrender. Hearing this, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, "That's fine too. You and the Barbarian King can follow me from now on." After saying this, Night Sorrow and Yan Hongmei shattered the holy ice spirit in front of them and controlled it. "Thank you, Night Devil. This time, it's all thanks to you that we broke through first. Otherwise, we would all have died." After defeating the holy ice spirit, Yan Hongmei thanked him. "We're all friends, so there's no need to be so polite. It's a pity that the 4 of them can't be saved." Night Sorrow sighed. This matter made them understand that even with the help of the astral sources, it was still possible for them to die in the chaotic burial star field. After leaving the place where they were before, the crisis officially began. That's right. Everyone had been together for so many years, and quite a few of them had died just like that. Let's go help Wan Ren and Barbarian King. Although it's 2 against 1, they are still having a hard time fighting. Yan Hongmei also sighed and suggested. Let's go. Night Sorrow nodded and led Qing Bao and Yan Hongmei to help the other 2. Seeing the arrival of Night Sorrow and the others, the Barbarian King's bitter face suddenly revealed a smile. He looked at the holy ice spirit provocatively and said, "You mother of Kur, why don't you try and fight with me?" When it saw Night Sorrow and the others rushing over, the holy ice spirit thought for a moment and suddenly turned into ice and snow, fleeing in a certain direction. He knew that he was no match for Night Sorrow and the others. "If you were the holy frost spirit, where would you run to?" Night Sorrow asked with a smile when he saw the holy frost spirit running away. "Naturally, I'm going to look for help." The Barbarian King immediately replied. Yes. He must have gone to look for help. But where would he go to look for it? It must be the nest of the holy frost spirit. According to my analysis, their lair is definitely not far from the barrier. As long as we follow them, we will be able to find the barrier. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he continued, "If you trust me, enter my space grotto heaven. Let's not bring these astral bodies with us for now. Let's check out the nest of the holy frost spirit and see how many enemies there are." "Okay. Boss Night Demon, I trust you." This time, it was the Barbarian King who spoke first again. After the Barbarian King was summoned, Qing Bao also spoke, "Count me in." After that, Yan Hongmei and Wan Ren also spoke. After summoning them into the space grotto heaven, Night Sorrow inscribed a concealment rune on himself. Using the movement technique taught by the 2 Supremes, he chased after the Holy Frost Spirit in front of him. While chasing after the Holy Frost Spirit, Night Sorrow sent a voice transmission to Yan Hongmei. "Can the few of you split up and interrogate the captured Holy Frost Spirit?" "Okay. I like to interrogate." The Barbarian King nodded and asked, "Where is the captured Holy Frost Spirit?" "I'll interrogate one. In my divine artifact." Yi Shang said, and then had the eternal divine tower suck them in. He began to interrogate the 3 Holy Frost Spirits. He continued to follow behind the Holy Frost Spirit in front of him. The Holy Frost Spirit thought that it was fast enough in the mass burial starfield, but it did not manage to shake off Night Sorrow at all. After flying for about 5 years, he finally returned to the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit. It was an ice river. There were many Holy Frost Spirits in the ice river. However, the strength of these Holy Frost Spirits was uneven. There were not many who had reached the half-step to Supreme Realm. Night Sorrow stood at a safe distance and used the Sea Serpent's Eye to observe. He discovered that in the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit, there were about 10 half-step to Supreme Realm experts. Among them, the strongest one was a half-step to Supreme Realm expert. He was slightly stronger than the one Night Sorrow was fighting. There were also thousands of heavenly sovereigns. And a large number of earthly sovereigns. Above the Holy Frost Spirit's lair, there was a vast expanse of space that was filled with dense mist. Night Sorrow, who had activated the sea serpent's eye, observed carefully and discovered that behind the mist was a 100-mile square barrier. He immediately sent a voice transmission to everyone. "How's the interrogation going? If you didn't find anything, don't continue. I've already found the way out." "Really? You found the barrier that the Holy Frost Spirit mentioned?" Hearing this, Green Leopard asked excitedly. He was more excited than anyone else. "Yes. However, if we want to get out, I'm afraid we have to go through the Holy Frost Spirit. Because the barrier is above the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit. Among the Holy Frost Spirits, there are about 10 half-step to Supreme Realm experts. They're not easy to deal with." Night Sorrow continued. Hearing this, Yen Hongmei said, "It's good that there's hope. If we can suppress 3 of them, we can suppress 3 more. We just have to split them up and attack them one by one." "Yes. We need to think of a plan," Night Sorrow said as he observed the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit. At this time, the Barbarian King suddenly said, "Boss Night Demon, I've found something from the interrogation." "Oh? What did you find out? Is it useful?" Before Night Sorrow could speak, Green Leopard asked first. "I found out that every time the mass burial polar ice comes, these Holy Frost Spirits will split into several groups and follow the mass burial polar ice to hunt the creatures in the void. When they come out to hunt again, we can attack their nest." The Barbarian King said proudly. "Very good. The information you found is very useful. With this information, these Holy Frost Spirits could be used to refine puppets, right? They can increase our strength by a lot," Yen Hongmei said. Chapter 3363. It's possible to turn them into puppets. But now that we've alerted the Holy Frost Spirits, their hunting will definitely change. It should be difficult to separate them, Night Sorrow said after the Barbarian King and Yen Hongmei finished talking. The Holy Frost Spirit tribe had so many half-step to Supreme Realm experts. They were definitely not a tribe of fools. It was impossible for them to know about their existence and hunt in small groups. They were too naive. He looked into the distance with the sea serpent's eye and continued, "If nothing goes wrong, we'll have to face the entire tribe of Holy Frost Spirits. Overall, we're not as strong as them. So we have to think of a way to deal with them. Should we set up a formation and lure them in to kill them?" After Yi Shang finished speaking, Yen Hongmei spoke up. She could tell that they were indeed at a disadvantage in terms of strength. They were basically no match for the Holy Frost Spirits. It was a good choice to set up a formation. I don't think it's easy to achieve. They're not stupid. They won't fall into a trap so easily. But we can control the stars and crash into the Holy Frost Spirits in front of us. Maybe it'll be very effective. Green Leopard looked at the habitat of the Holy Frost Spirits in front of them. Although he couldn't see it clearly, he still speculated. In his opinion, a simple and direct attack should be the most effective. If the 9 stars all crashed into the habitat of the Holy Frost Spirits, it would definitely be very effective. Night Sorrow nodded and said, "It'll be effective if we do that. But if we use up all the stars, we'll have to destroy the Holy Frost Spirits in a few decades and break the barrier to leave the mass burial starfield. Otherwise, we won't be able to stop the next mass burial starfield. If we can get out, it's not a big deal to use up all the stars. As for risking everything, we're willing to give it a try." The Barbarian King looked at the barrier above the Holy Frost Spirits and said expectantly. For cultivators like them who had been trapped in the mass burial starfield for countless years, they were willing to pay any price. Green Leopard and Wan Ren also agreed. The 2 of them had been trapped for many years and were already indifferent to everything. They just wanted to get out as soon as possible. It's good that everyone is determined. Also, we still have about 100 years. Don't be too anxious. I'll interrogate the few of them. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he ordered the others to keep an eye on the Holy Glacial Spirits while he began to interrogate the Holy Glacial Spirits. He wanted to find out the weaknesses of the Holy Frost Spirit so that he could gain an advantage in the battle. However, although these Holy Ice Spirits had already submitted to the Barbarian King, when they faced Night Sorrow, their eyes were full of murderous intent, as if they wanted to tear him apart. It gave people the feeling that it was like a tiger or leopard that had been restrained. It was a bit of a beast that was difficult to tame. Night Sorrow, who was sizing up the Frost Holy Spirits, saw their expressions and immediately confirmed that these Frost Holy Spirits hated him to the core. This was to be expected. After all, these Holy Frost Spirits were basically captured because of his power of virtue. It seems like you hate me a lot. But you have to understand, the winner takes all. This is the law of the world. Tell me the weakness of the Holy Frost Spirit, and I will consider letting you go. Night Sorrow said coldly as he stood in front of the Holy Frost Spirits. However, after he spoke, the Holy Frost Spirits ignored him. It was obvious that they hated him to the core. At this time, Night Sorrow said mockingly, "If you are really brave, why would you tell me about the Holy Frost Spirit tribes hunting?" However, the Holy Frost Spirits still did not speak. From their looks, it was clear that they weren't going to bother with Yishang. It's okay if you don't want to talk. You can still realize your self-worth. Night Sorrow did not torture the Holy Frost Spirits in front of him. He said coldly, however, after this, you won't have the chance to talk even if you want to. After saying that, he sent a voice transmission to the rest of the people. Everyone, can you trust me? If the Holy Frost Spirits did not cooperate, he was going to use his power of virtue to kill all of them and turn them into his power of virtue. He was going to increase their strength. According to Night Sorrow's estimation, after killing the Holy Frost Spirits, his power of virtue would not be too far away from his cultivation level, even if it would not be able to catch up with his cultivation level. To him, this would be a huge increase in strength. In the battle with the Holy Frost Spirits, it would be very useful. Of course we trust you. Without Brother Night Demon, we would have died long ago. Why do you say so? Yan Hongmei asked after replying to him. After that, the rest of the people asked the same question. Hearing this, Night Sorrow replied, I am going to refine the Holy Frost Spirits in front of me. This will increase my strength by a lot. It will give me the ability to fight against the Holy Frost Spirits who are at half step to Supreme Realm. However, if I refine all of them, you won't have any puppets to refine. Let's discuss this first. I will definitely support you. Yan Hongmei replied and started to discuss with Green Leopard, Wan Ren, and the Barbarian King. Not long after, Yan Hongmei, as the representative, said, Brother Night Demon, just do it. We will all support you. After all, if you become stronger, our strength will increase. Okay. Then, Night Devil thanks everyone. Night Sorrow replied to Yan Hongmei and looked at the Holy Frost Spirits in front of him again. He said, I will give you one last chance. Tell me everything you know. Otherwise, you will completely disappear from this world. After he finished speaking, the Holy Frost Spirits were still glaring at him angrily. They had no intention of speaking at all. At this moment, Night Sorrow laughed coldly and said, Very good. I will support your choice. And all of you will be my help in destroying the Holy Frost Spirit tribe. After he finished speaking, he used his power of merit and attacked one of the Holy Frost Spirits. In the Eternal Divine Tower, this Holy Frost Spirit would definitely not have the ability to fight back. Soon, it was killed by Night Sorrow and turned into golden power of merit and entered its body. At this moment, one of the Holy Frost Spirits cursed loudly, You devil! At this moment, he wanted to self-destruct but he did not have the ability to do so. He could only be slaughtered. You are the devil. Otherwise, my 4 companions would not have died. Remember, those who kill will be killed by others. After he finished speaking, Night Sorrow attacked again and killed the Holy Frost Spirits in front of him. He absorbed all the power of merit that they had turned into. At that instant, his force of good fortune skyrocketed. Finally, it stopped at the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level and was only a hair's breadth away from his cultivation. It is indeed as I have predicted. Now that I have reached the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level, I should be able to fight a 4th grade holy frost spirit. After his power of merit increased to the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level, Knight Sorrow's temperament changed greatly. Chapter 33-64. Every movement of his had a different Taoist rhyme to it. Yi Shang's body was surrounded by a faint layer of light. It looked like he was covered by a layer of Buddha's light. But the light of merit was different from the Buddha's light. It had a kind of natural and sacred feeling. He felt the changes brought about by the increase in his light of merit. Knight Sorrow practiced the use of this power in the eternal divine tower. Then, he retracted the light. After he was familiar with the new level, Little Seven immediately congratulated him. Knight Sorrow, congratulations on your improvement. Your light of merit has increased to this level. It should be easy to deal with the Holy Frost Spirit. I hope so. But the Holy Frost Spirit in the 4th stage half-supreme realm should be the Holy Frost Spirit King. It will not be easy to deal with like the other Holy Frost Spirits. Knight Sorrow thought for a while and said. When he observed the Holy Frost Spirit in the 4th stage half-supreme realm, he felt that it was different from the others. He knew that the next battle would not be easy. Of course. Maybe he has a treasure in his hands. Or you can use some other power. After all, he could be the leader of a tribe. But I think you can still destroy them. Little Seven agreed. But he was still very confident in Knight Sorrow. At this moment, Little Five asked, your light of merit has increased so much. Are you going to lead the people outside to fight the Holy Frost Spirit directly? A pure head-on fight is not likely to happen. At least, we will use the 9 celestial bodies to attack the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resides. Knight Sorrow said. Since that is the case, I think you should control more celestial bodies and give them a reign of celestial bodies. Little Five suggested after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. Oh. How can this matter of yours be realized? After all, many of the celestial bodies that we have discovered are easily destroyed. Knight Sorrow asked curiously. He felt that Little Five must have had a plan. The celestial bodies that we have encountered are easily destroyed. But there are many celestial bodies floating above the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resides. I think with your strength, you can sneak in and control some of the celestial bodies. Then, you can attack the ice river where their aura is. Little Five said slowly. This was his judgment, which came from his endless trust in Knight Sorrow. You are right. I will go out and study it with them. Knight Sorrow thought and felt that it was feasible. Then, he prepared to leave the eternal divine tower. At this moment, Little Five reminded him, Knight Sorrow. Your aura has undergone a great change. Be careful not to expose your power of virtue. Don't worry, I won't. With the help of the mist breathing technique, this is not a problem. After cultivating the fog breathing technique, Knight Sorrow could easily conceal the characteristics of various powers. He didn't have to worry about this at all. Then, the Holy Frost Spirit of life of the Holy of the Divine Goddesses. Using the eye of the sea serpent, Knight Sorrow found that some of the celestial bodies were not affected by the ice. But there were Holy Frost Spirits on these celestial bodies. It was very difficult to control them without anyone noticing. After all, the Holy Frost Spirits were very vigilant at this moment. In my opinion, why don't we go back and bring the celestial bodies here and use them to launch a wave of attacks? While we are busy, we can take advantage of the chaos to attack the other celestial bodies. We can directly destroy the ice river of the Holy Frost Spirits. In my opinion, the ice river is the source of the Holy Frost Spirit's power. Knight Sorrow analyzed the difficulty of this matter. The barbarian king said. He had always relied on the latter to survive until now. He mainly relied on his ability to judge the situation. Hearing this, Yan Hongmei immediately agreed. I think it's possible. Let's stake it all and destroy the Holy Frost Spirits. Then, we will have a chance to break the barrier and return to the endless sea of stars to start a new life. That's good. Although it's not a foolproof plan, we can give it a try. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow set up some teleportation portals in the void. He said, when we came, we were in a hurry. I didn't set up any portals. Now, I'll guard here. You guys go back over there and set up the teleportation portals. We'll use the portals to go back and forth. He felt that flying back and forth was too much of a waste of time. Okay. Then we'll have to trouble you, Boss Night Demon. After the Barbarian King finished speaking, he looked at the others and said, Boss Night Demon has the best eyesight. He can see the Holy Frost Spirit's movements. Let's go immediately. Okay. Let's go. Green Leopard looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. At this time, Yen Hongmei said, Brother Night Demon, you have to be careful. If something goes wrong, run away immediately. Don't worry. I'll protect myself. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he could only monitor the situation if he stayed here. The others did not have the ability to see the ice river clearly. After the Barbarian King and the others left, he hid in the void and observed the Holy Frost Spirit's movements. After the incident, these Holy Frost Spirits became much more vigilant. At the same time, they stayed in the ice river and did not leave their homes. They were like tigers that did not leave their caves. After 3 years of observation, they did not make any movements. Night Sorrow transmitted his voice, Little 5, after the battle, how many attacks can you use the Eternal Divine Tower to attack? The more powerful attacks should only be 2. Little 5 replied truthfully. Okay. Then you guys should also absorb this dragon heavenly ship. Night Sorrow took out the dragon heavenly ship and sent it into the Eternal Divine Tower. This dragon heavenly ship was a very good flying divine tool. But he felt that if he could not leave, any treasure would be useless. So he took it out directly. Okay. After absorbing this dragon heavenly ship, it should be able to brew another 2 to 3 attacks. Little 5 responded and began to control the Eternal Divine Tower to absorb the dragon heavenly ship's power. In about 3 months' time, it completely absorbed the dragon heavenly ship's power and brewed 2 attacks. In this way, after the battle began, the Eternal Divine Tower could unleash its most powerful attacks 4 times. As for ordinary attacks, it could unleash about 10 times. But such attacks were useless against a half-step to the Supreme Realm. Therefore, it could be ignored. In the next year or so, because he had nothing to do, Yi Shang monitored the movements of the Frost Holy Spirit. He began to study the 100 Words mantra. He comprehended 2 new words. In this way, the number of mantras he had mastered had reached 91. Just after he comprehended a new word mantra, the Barbarian King returned to Night Sorrow's side through the teleportation portal. He said, Boss Night Devil, we have finished our arrangements and controlled the other people's celestial bodies. We are just waiting for you to return and summon your own celestial body. Chapter 3365. Good. You've done well. Night Sorrow said. Without any hesitation, he returned to the scorching Holy Land through the portal and took control of the celestial bodies. He did not say anything about the others taking control of the 2 celestial bodies. He gathered everyone together and said, let's use the portal to send the celestial bodies over. Those icy holy spirits will definitely notice it. So, don't hesitate when you land. Just send the celestial bodies over. Then, the battle of life and death will begin. Remember what we need to do. Boss Night Devil, we have rehearsed what you said thousands of times in our hearts. We won't make a mistake. Green Leopard promised after hearing Night Sorrow's words. What they wanted the most was to leave. Naturally, they would do their best in this matter. Good. Everyone, pay attention to your safety during the battle. If anyone can't handle it, send me a message immediately. I will keep them in the Grotto Heaven. Night Sorrow said. Then, he ordered, there's no time to lose. Let's go. Good. Let's kill them. Yen Hongmei said with a murderous aura. She had been waiting for this moment for many years. The barrier above the icy holy spirits was something she wanted to break even in her dreams. Good. Everyone, fight with me. Night Sorrow shouted. The icy holy spirits have been quiet for many years. They have not made any moves. They must have expected us to attack. So, once you attack, don't hold back. You must attack them with an attack that they cannot handle. Boss Night Devil, for freedom, we will do our best to kill them. The barbarian king looked into the distance and promised. Actually, they were more eager to leave than Night Sorrow. They did not need to mobilize at all. Their fighting spirit would completely erupt. Good. Let's kill them. Night Sorrow said. Then, he controlled the celestial bodies and used the portal to teleport to the icy holy spirit's side. After Night Sorrow teleported over, the others also teleported over. The appearance of the 9 celestial bodies in the sky immediately attracted the attention of the icy holy spirits. We've been discovered. Attack. Realizing that the Holy Frost Spirit had noticed him, Night Sorrow immediately ordered. Then, together with the others, he controlled the 9 celestial bodies to attack the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resided. They followed Night Sorrow's instructions and distanced themselves from the 9 celestial bodies. In another direction, they were flying in the direction of the ice river. Enemy attack. Warning. Watch out for the collision of the stars. It's here. Those cultivators had appeared. Prepare for battle. At this moment, the Holy Frost Spirit clan had completely discovered the scheme of Night Sorrow and the others. They had already begun to organize an attack against the 9 celestial bodies. Under the leadership of a 4th stage half-step Supreme Realm expert, the Flying Departure Star River began to attack the 9 celestial bodies. Their attacks were all of the ice attribute. And the origin of the 9 celestial bodies were all scorching flames. Therefore, the first round of attacks did not have any effect. At this moment, the half-step Supreme Realm expert said, "These 9 celestial bodies are the ones in the scorching Pure Land. Everyone, use your trump cards. Otherwise, if they hit us, our home will be destroyed." Yes. Lord Holy King. The other Holy Frost Spirits immediately responded. Then, they cooperated with the Holy King to summon the origin of the Star River and let it help them freeze the 9 celestial bodies. They want to freeze the 9 celestial bodies above the void. Our chance is here. Everyone, enter my space grotto heaven. I'll bring you in. The Holy Frost Spirits, including the Holy King, were all attracted by the 9 celestial bodies. Night Sorrow immediately put on his clothes and gave them to everyone. Then, he put everyone into his space grotto heaven and went behind the Holy Frost Spirits to sneak above the ice river. When they arrived at the celestial bodies above the ice river, the barbarian king suddenly said, "Boss Night Demon, what do you think about us attacking the barrier directly? If the barrier could be broken so easily, the Holy Frost Spirits would have broken it long ago. We shouldn't be able to do anything in a short time." Night Sorrow looked up at the barrier above. If they attacked now, they would definitely be able to attack it. But he felt that they would not be able to break it in a short time. So, he ordered, "Let's move the celestial bodies. These celestial bodies in front of us should not be controlled by the origin." Okay. The barbarian king immediately agreed when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Then, the others and Night Sorrow flew toward the celestial bodies. When they sneaked in, they naturally encountered the Holy Frost Spirits guarding the celestial bodies. However, these Holy Frost Spirits were all ordinary heavenly supremes. They could not stop the few of them at all. Soon, Night Sorrow and the others each controlled a celestial body and used them to smash down on the ice river below. This naturally attracted the Holy Frost Spirits' attention. Bastards. These shameless cultivators. The Holy King, who was leading his men to stop the 9 celestial bodies, cursed angrily when he saw the celestial bodies crashing down from above. But at this moment, he and the other experts around him could not do anything at all. If they wanted to stop the 9 celestial bodies, they would not be able to stop the 5 celestial bodies from crashing into them. After thinking for a while, he ordered, "Stop the 9 celestial bodies from crashing into them. After that, kill the cultivators who are causing trouble. As for the weaker ones, you can hide in the ice river." Although the 5 celestial bodies can cause an impact to the galaxy, they are not a great threat. After saying that, he led the other experts to attack the 9 celestial bodies with all their might. In the end, they stopped the 9 celestial bodies. At this moment, the 5 celestial bodies controlled by Night Sorrow and the others smashed into the ice river one after another. They created loud bangs one after another. After being hit by the 5 celestial bodies, the ice river immediately cracked with Tao patterns. It looked like it was about to shatter. Many holy frost spirits were smashed to death by this impact. However, the Holy Frost Spirit tribe was not severely injured as Night Sorrow and the others had predicted. At this moment, the Holy King, who had stopped the 9 celestial bodies, ordered, "Follow me and kill all the invaders." "Yes, Holy King. Lord Holy King." Some of the holy ice spirits behind him immediately responded. "What about Lord Night Demon?" A few celestial bodies fell, but they did not injure the half-step Supreme Realm Holy Frost Spirits at all. "Should we fight or retreat?" Seeing the situation before him, the Barbarian King asked in shock. "It won't be easy to escape now. I'll deal with the Holy King of Frost. You guys think of a way to hold him back. Remember my words. If you can't hold on, enter my space immediately." Night Sorrow said and sent a voice transmission to Little 5. "Control the Eternal Divine Tower and attack the Ice River." "For attacks, all at the Ice River?" Little 5 asked immediately. Night Sorrow confirmed, "Yes. All at the Ice River." Chapter 3366. Okay. Little 5 replied to Night Sorrow and controlled the Eternal Divine Tower to attack Bing He continuously. At the same time, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to everyone before the Frost Holy Spirit reached them. "Don't hesitate. Attack Bing He. Injure Bing He severely first." "Okay. Got it." The Frost Holy Spirit had already pounced on Gu Lai, but it was still a distance away. The Barbarian King responded and attacked Bing He. The others were also fighting against time to attack. At this time, those who stayed near Bing He were basically the weakest among the Frost Holy Spirits. They could not withstand Night Sorrow's and the Eternal Divine Tower's attacks at all. Before the Frost Holy King arrived, countless of them were killed. Terrifying cracks appeared on Bing He's body. "Cultivators of Lu Tian Academy, all of you deserve to die." Seeing the huge hole in Bing He, the Frost Holy King roared and ordered, "Kill all these cultivators. Use their flesh and blood to pay tribute to Bing He." "Yes. Holy King." The other Frost Holy Spirits roared one after another. They looked like they were going to kill Night Sorrow and the others instantly. Boom! At this moment, the Eternal Divine Tower attacked for the 4th time under Little 5's control. This attack was also aimed at Bing He. "This king is already here. How can I let you succeed again?" Seeing the Eternal Divine Tower attacking Bing He again, the Frost Holy King immediately attacked with an ice attack to block it. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "Everyone, be careful." With the golden heavenly halberd and desolation war halberd in hand, he charged toward the Frost Holy King. The others were encouraged by Night Sorrow's bravery. They fought with the other cultivators of the Frost Holy Spirits. For a battle of this level, those below half-step to Supreme Realm were basically useless. When the battle started, although the Frost Holy Spirits had many heavenly sovereigns, they were of no help at all. The Frost Holy Spirits were completely relying on the dozen or so half-step Supreme Realm experts to fight against Yen Hongmei, Green Leopard, and the others. In terms of numbers, the Holy Frost Spirits who were half a step into the Supreme Stage would definitely have the advantage. However, Yen Hongmei, Black Panther, and the others clearly had more tricks up their sleeves than them. Furthermore, although the stars were shattered, their origins were still there. With the help of the astral source, although they were slightly passive, they had basically stabilized the situation. Of course, this was also due to the fact that they had severely injured Glacier, which prevented the holy glacial spirits from absorbing the energy without restraint. Therefore, their combat prowess was reduced to a certain extent. I didn't expect a middle heavenly sovereign like you to be so capable. While the others were barely defending against the Holy Frost Spirit's attacks, Night Sorrow and the Holy Monarch had already fought for a while. After the probing attack, Frost Holy King immediately stopped looking down on Night Sorrow. If your evaluation of me is only that I have some ability, then it proves that your judgment is not very good. Facing the half-step Paramount Realm 4th Stage Holy Monarch Frost, Night Sorrow only had to say a few words before he completely activated the Treastrimsa Heaven's Mystic Arts and Destructive Mystic Arts, as well as the Azure Phoenix Battle Armor. 66 words appeared in the air. Of these 66 words, 33 were used to weaken Frost Holy Monarch, while the other 33 were used to strengthen himself. Under such circumstances, the difference in strength between the two sides was pulled closer by a lot. Extreme Flame Mother Spears. Divine Essence Trap Array. After adjusting himself to his strongest state, Night Sorrow consecutively used 2 secret techniques. This was one of his more powerful attack combinations now. However, he had yet to use the Wuji Void Cauldron and Bloodline power. He used his trump card right from the start. This was because he knew that a half-step Paramount Realm 4th Stage opponent was still very difficult to deal with. Child's Play. Do you think I can't handle it? Frost Defense. Facing Night Sorrow's attack, Frost Holy Monarch, who was trapped by the Divine Essence Trap Array, did not show any signs of panic. He also did not attack the Divine Essence Trap Array. Instead, he formed hand seals within the array and activated his own Frost Defense. Boom! When Night Sorrow's Extreme Flame Mother Spears landed on Frost Holy Monarch's body, it was immediately blocked by his super strong defense. His Frost Defense secret technique was just too strong. Night Sorrow's attack could not break through it. At this moment, Little Five said telepathically, Night Sorrow, I'm afraid you still need to use the power of flames to defeat him. I'm afraid you won't be able to defeat him with just strength. I can see that too. I can only rely on my astral body source and bloodline power. At this moment, Night Sorrow looked at the others who were fighting and realized that it was already not easy for Yan Hongmei and the rest to hold their own against the other Frost Holy Spirits. They might not be able to hold on for long. Therefore, he did not hesitate at all. He completely ignited his Phoenix Bloodline, Scale Bloodline, and Leaken Bloodline. He raised his physical strength to the peak. Then, he took out the Wuji Void Cauldron and suppressed the surrounding void. Trying to trap this king? You must be dreaming. After Night Sorrow used the Wuji Void Cauldron to suppress the void, Frost Holy Monarch immediately roared in disdain. Then, he used the Era of Frost. This move was almost exactly the same as the one Night Sorrow used to defeat the Frost Holy Spirit, but the effect was obviously much better. The surrounding void seemed to be frozen in an instant. Faced with such a situation, Night Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message to the astral body source. Just like last time, think of a way to break the Era of Frost. Master. I'm afraid I can't do it. The astral body source said hesitantly after receiving the telepathic message. He felt a little helpless against Frost Holy Monarch's Era of Frost. It's okay. Just do the same thing as last time. At this moment, Night Sorrow sent a telepathic message and summoned the disguised virtuous fire to burn the surroundings. After the virtuous fire appeared, Frost Holy Monarch's Era of Frost was instantly weakened by a lot. Under such circumstances, the astral body source said excitedly, Master. This Era of Frost is no longer a threat. As he spoke, he used the power of fire to break the Era of Frost in front of him. What kind of power is this? How can it be so strange? Frost Holy Monarch stared at the virtuous fire that suddenly appeared in the void and said in surprise. This is a fire that will take your life. After the Era of Frost was broken, the Wuji Void Cauldron began to suppress the void again. Night Sorrow roared and used the defiant 9 steps and ocean roaming dragon. He used his speed to get close to Frost Holy Monarch and used the fire attribute Void Broken Palm to attack him. This move was taught to him by Yen Hengshi, and it was very powerful on its own. Coupled with Night Sorrow's own bloodline flames, the power was very terrifying after it was used. Even Frost Holy Monarch couldn't help but feel a little guilty in the face of this attack and wanted to use his movement technique to dodge. At this moment, Night Sorrow suddenly used the virtuous trap formation on him and trapped him inside. He slammed his palm forward viciously. Chapter 3367. Oh no. This king can't break this formation. Realizing that he couldn't break Night Sorrow's formation, Frost Holy King panicked. After thinking for a moment, he roared, "Holy King Invincible Shield." In an instant, a layer of ice defense appeared around him. This layer of defense didn't look too conspicuous. However, Night Sorrow's attack was instantly neutralized after hitting it. As for this layer of ice defense, after it was struck, it disappeared along with the attack. It was equivalent to using this move to dissipate Night Sorrow's attack. At the same time, the virtuous trap formation was also broken. Frost Holy King, who had broken the virtuous trap formation, wasn't as happy as expected. This was because he could only use an ultimate technique like the Holy King Invincible Shield once every 30,000 years. Although he had used it to save a life, it also made him realize the true difficulty of this battle. After thinking for a moment, Frost Holy King's brows suddenly emitted a ferocious, cold light. He roared into the sky, "All of you, help this king summon the Frost Crown." As soon as he finished speaking, the holy frost spirits all turned into rays of light and entered the Holy King of Frost's body. Even the half-step Supreme Realm Holy Spirits fighting Yen Hongmei and the others were no exception. Almost instantly, only Frost Holy King and Night Sorrow's group were left on the ice river. Meanwhile, Night Sorrow's side didn't lose a single person. There were still 5 of them. What's going on? Seeing that Frost Holy King had absorbed all the Frost Holy Spirits, the Barbarian King was shocked. Green Leopard said in annoyance, "Is there a need to explain? Frost Holy King's strength will definitely increase by a lot after absorbing all the Frost Holy Spirit's energy. We're in big trouble." Yes. After absorbing so many Frost Holy Spirit's energy, even if Frost Holy King can't advance to half-step Supreme Realm rank 5, he'll reach the peak of rank 4. It'll be very difficult for us to fight against him. Night Sorrow made his judgment with a frown. Right now, Frost Holy King had absorbed all the Frost Holy Spirit's energy and hadn't attacked yet. However, just the aura alone made him feel very uncomfortable. We really have to be careful. Yen Hongmei said cautiously as she carefully sensed Frost Holy King's aura. It wasn't that they didn't want to interrupt Frost Holy Monarch. However, the speed at which Frost Holy King absorbed the energy was simply too fast. Before they could interrupt him, he had already succeeded. The sacred ice spirits didn't seem to have any intention of resisting him at all. In an instant, he had already taken form. "You forced me to this point. Today, all of you will be turned into materials for the ice river." After stabilizing his aura, Frost Saint King's eyes glowed with rage. Then, a crown of ice suddenly rose from the river of ice. The Frost Crown's aura was even more terrifying than the Frost Holy King. Not good. He could not allow him to obtain the icy crown. If he combined it with the icy crown, it was very likely that he would advance to the 5th stage of the half-step Paramount Realm. If that happens, we won't be able to resist at all. Night Sorrow, who was observing with the sea serpent's eye, said as he cast a merit trapping array at the ice crown. "This kind of attack of yours is no longer of any use. If you continue to use it, it will be a complete waste of energy." Facing the merit trapping array, Frost Holy King attacked with a look of disdain. He forcefully shattered the merit trapping array that Night Sorrow had cast. Then, he summoned the icy crown into his hand and slowly put it on his head. After Frost Holy King put on the icy crown, his aura was just as Night Sorrow had said. He had advanced to the 5th stage of the half-step paramount realm. Not good. With our strength, we won't be able to resist the attack of the 5th stage of the half-step paramount realm. Everyone, run. Activate the transportation portal and leave. After Frost Holy King's strength increased, Knight Sorrow instantly realized that things were not going well. As he increased everyone's strength, he had already revealed his identity. Hearing this, the others did not hesitate at all. They all used their movement techniques and prepared to flee to the transportation portal and use it to escape. They knew that Frost Holy King was an existence that they could not fight against. Trying to escape. Do you think you can escape from this mass burial star zone? Seeing that everyone was trying to escape, Frost Holy King's expression turned cold. Frost Holy King's brows revealed a trace of coldness. Then, he shot an ice spear at the slowest Wanren. Logically speaking, Wanren was a 3rd stage half-step paramount realm expert. Although he was not a super genius, he still had a certain amount of battle strength. However, Frost Holy King's ice spear actually pierced through Wanren's body. When Knight Sorrow turned around to look, he realized that Wanren had already been killed. It could be seen just how powerful Frost Holy King was right now. No. If we continue to be chased by him like this, everyone will be killed one by one. Seeing Wanren being killed, Knight Sorrow's mind flashed with countless possibilities. But thinking about it carefully, he realized that most of them would not work. Because Frost Holy King had put on the icy crown, his strength had increased by too much. He was not someone that anyone below the 5th stage could fight against. If we can't escape, what should we do? At this moment, Barbarian King who was at the back asked. He was very worried that he would be killed in the next moment. All of you, enter my space grotto heaven. After Barbarian King asked, Knight Sorrow sent a telepathic message to everyone. Although he was not a match for Frost Holy King, he would not be killed instantly. Hearing this, everyone helplessly entered his space grotto heaven. Do you think it's useful to keep them in the space? The next one to die will be you. Seeing that Knight Sorrow had kept everyone in his space grotto heaven, Frost Holy King, who had caught up, had a look of disdain. At this moment, the astral source that Knight Sorrow controlled suddenly sent a telepathic message. Master. I have a way to deal with Frost Holy King. Oh. What do you have? Hurry up and tell me. Knight Sorrow heard the astral source's words and was instantly interested. At this moment, although he could dodge some of Shelter from the cold's attacks, he would definitely not be able to hold on for long. The astral source's words were like a life-saving straw to him. Then, the astral source sent a telepathic message. Master. As long as our 9 sources merge together, we will be able to destroy the icy crown. That seems to be our mission. Is that so? That's great. That's easy. Hearing the astral source's words, Knight Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message to everyone and explained the situation. Yan Hongmei immediately asked excitedly, really? Other than the 2 astral sources controlled by Wanren, the rest are all with us. It will be easy to merge them together. As she spoke, she did not hesitate and ordered her astral source to merge with Knight Sorrow. Barbarian King and Green Leopard did the same. Very quickly, Knight Sorrow, who had dodged Frost Holy King's attack, merged with the 7 astral sources. Only the 2 astral sources on Wanren's body were left to merge. Knight Sorrow immediately turned back and flew towards the place where Wanren had fallen. www. Chapter 3368. Although Wanren had already fallen, the 2 celestial body origins that he controlled had not left his body. Instead, they stayed where they were, looking confused. Are you after the 2 fire origins in his body? This king will not let you have your way. Seeing Knight Sorrow flying towards Wanren's body, the crowned king of Frost revealed a cruel smile. Then, he unleashed an ultimate technique at Yishang's location. Frost Storm Slash. Instantly, countless ice spears flew towards Knight Sorrow's position. Moreover, the surrounding space was completely sealed. Although Knight Soro's movement techniques were pretty good, and he had learned them from Yen Hengshi and Yen Hengshi respectively, there was no way he could dodge the countless ice spears. Knowing that he could not dodge with his movement techniques, Knight Soro immediately controlled his golden heavenly halberd and desolation war halberd to attack the ice spears in the sky. He used the flames in the sky to fight against King of Frost's ice spears. This move was quite effective at the beginning, but it only lasted for a while before it lost its momentum and was suppressed by the ice spears. In the blink of an eye, over 100 ice spears smashed into Yi Chang's body. His body was blasted away. He slid a long distance in the void. Ant, you are just an ant. Die. Ice Age. Seeing that Knight Soro was sent flying by the ice spears and was still enduring the attacks, King of Frost's eyes shot out 2 even more terrifying ice arrows. These 2 ice arrows carried an endless chill, as if they could freeze heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that it could bring time and space back to the Ice Age. In Yi Shang's opinion, this Ice Age was much stronger than the Ice Age. The two couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath. However, he did not panic. Instead, he took out the Silver Dragon Void Shield that Vice Dean Ji Xian had given him to defend himself. He also used his blood to completely activate the Green Phoenix battle armor. At the same time, he used the 3300 words mantra. Finally, he summoned the Dragon of Virtue to block this attack with all his might. Knight Soro could tell how powerful this move was. Seeing that Knight Soro had used all his moves to block Ice Age, King of Frost laughed disdainfully. You, an ant, can't block this attack no matter what. Prepare to die. As soon as he finished speaking, he pointed at the Ice River and said, "Release the power of the Ice River." As the Frost Sacred Monarch summoned an even more frightening power from the Ice River, the 2 ice arrows, including the Ice Age, became even more frightening. The 2 ice arrows landed on the Silver Dragon Void Shield at the same time. Although the Silver Dragon Void Shield was at the 3rd grade of the Half-Step Supreme Realm and was supported by Knight Soro's Force of Virtue, it was still shattered into pieces. After the 2 ice arrows broke through the Silver Dragon Void Shield's defense, they shattered Knight Soro's Blue Phoenix armor. Yi Shang's body was almost completely obliterated by this attack. However, Knight Soro laughed even though he was heavily injured. "What are you laughing at? Are you going to meet your death in a crazed state?" Frost's Sacred King asked disdainfully when he saw Yi Shang slowly stand up from the void with a smile on his face. The way he saw it, Yi Soro was so severely injured that he didn't even need to continue attacking. Yi Soro definitely wouldn't be able to survive. At this moment, Knight Soro looked behind King of Frost and said, "Look behind you and you'll understand why I'm laughing." King of Frost didn't turn around when he heard this. Instead, he used his divine spirit to check. Immediately, he discovered that an extremely scorching flame had appeared behind him. As it turned out, when Knight Soro was receiving Ice Age's attack, he had secretly used the Eternal Divine Tower to secretly approach One Ren's body with the power of the 7 celestial origins, allowing the 9 celestial origins to combine into one. Under King of Frost's carelessness, the Eternal Divine Tower successfully combined the 9 celestial origins. They formed a brand new fire origin. After the fire origin appeared, it directly turned into a fire arrow and shot towards King of Frost. This fire arrow's strength was similar to the 2 ice arrows that King of Frost had shot out earlier. It also contained similar Taoist rhymes. This made King of Frost frown instantly. He thought for a moment and shot out the 2 ice arrows from Ice Age again. "It's useless. The ice crown will break." Facing King of Frost's attack, the fire origin seemed to make a judgment. Then, the ice crown on King of Frost's head was directly shattered. In an instant, the ice river below them also started to melt. As the ice river started to melt, King of Frost instantly felt his strength weakening. Soon, he dropped from Half-Step Supreme Realm 5th grade to Half-Step Supreme Realm 4th grade. Then, he dropped again to Half-Step Supreme Realm 3rd grade. At this moment, Knight Soro summoned Yan Hongmei and the rest. "Here's our chance to kill King of Frost. Don't worry, leave the rest to us. Yan Hongmei and the rest, who knew that Night Sorrow was seriously injured, realized that their chance had come and all attacked King of Frost fiercely. Although King of Frost tried his best to resist, as the ice river melted, his strength dropped too much. Before long, he was killed by everyone and finally turned into a drop of water. The drop of water that King of Frost turned into is good stuff. It contains his life essence. Boss Night Demon, use it to absorb and recover your body. The one who obtained the drop of water was Green Leopard. He did not hesitate to give it to Night Sorrow. No one objected to this. After thinking for a moment, Night Sorrow took the drop of water and said, "Thank you, everyone. I won't stand on ceremony then." He knew that although he could rely on the Leekin's power to slowly recover his body, but to completely recover, it would take a lot of time. And the time left for them to break the barrier in the sky was only a few decades. They did not allow any delay. Thus, he did not stand on ceremony and accepted the drop of water. At this moment, Night Sorrow looked into the void and discovered that the fire origin that shattered the frost crown had already become a small flame like a candle flame due to excessive consumption. He immediately flew over and stored it in the Eternal Divine Tower to recuperate. He also thanked him. However, the fire origin that had turned into a small flame did not respond at all. Clearly, it had consumed too much energy. After everything was settled, Yan Hongmei looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Brother Night Demon, recover your body first. Let's try to attack the barrier in the sky and see if we can succeed." "All right. You guys go ahead and try. My injuries are a little serious this time. I need some time to recover." After saying that, Night Sorrow set up a formation in the void. Then, he absorbed the remaining energy of King of Frost. As for King of Frost, because he had not completely died, he did not convert it into power of merit. While Night Sorrow was recovering, Yan Hongmei, Green Leopard, and the Brute King began to attack the barrier in the sky. www. Chapter 3369. After launching a series of attacks on the barrier in the sky, Yan Hongmei and the rest quickly realized that their abilities were insufficient. This was because their attacks did not cause any damage to the barrier. The attacks that hit it were like water droplets that merged into the sea, unable to cause any waves. After continuously trying for an hour, Yan Hongmei sighed and said, "Let's wait for Brother Night Demon. It looks like it's very difficult for the three of us to cause any damage to the barrier." "Yes. We can only place our hopes on Boss Night Demon. If he can't do it, we might die in a few decades. After all, the fire origin is completely useless. Without protection, we can't withstand the mass burial glacial ice." As Barbarian King spoke, he looked at where Night Sorrow was in seclusion. However, he could not see Night Sorrow's situation at all. After Barbarian King finished speaking, Green Leopard frowned and said, "I don't know what we can do to help. We can't rely on Boss Night Demon for everything, right? Wouldn't we be useless then?" "What you said makes sense, but in this situation, what can we do?" Barbarian King said helplessly. In his opinion, the three of them could only place their hopes on Night Sorrow. At this moment, Green Leopard said in a deep voice, "Although we don't have the ability to break the barrier, we can find resources for him in the melting glacial river or the mass burial starfield. This is better than standing there foolishly." "All right." Hearing this, Yan Hongmei responded and looked at the almost melted glacial river beneath her feet. "We'll sneak into the glacial river and find resources for Brother Night Demon. If we can't find anything, we'll go to other places in the mass burial starfield to find resources. We can't just wait for him to do everything." "All right, it's decided then. I'll take the lead, you guys follow." Green Leopard said and jumped into the glacial river first. In his opinion, the glacial Holy Spirit should be born from this glacial river. There might be some treasures in the glacial river. After Green Leopard jumped in, Barbarian King followed behind while Yan Hongmei was in charge of bringing up the rear. They did not hesitate and all jumped in. However, the moment they entered, the three of them suffered a little because although the glacial river had melted, the temperature was still very low. Although they were all experts half a step into the limitless realm, they couldn't take it at all. That bone-piercing coldness made their hearts palpitate. Not long after, the three of them came up one after another. If they didn't come up, they would probably be frozen in the river. After looking at each other, the barbarian king asked doubtfully, "What do you think is in this ice river? Why is it so cold? Even us half-step limeters can't take it. In my opinion, there should be something extraordinary down there." The ice river Holy Spirit and the ice Holy Spirit must have been born from it. Yan Hongmei speculated, it's very likely to be some amazing material. If it's like what you said, there are materials down there. It was definitely a limeter level material. After all, many of the holy frost spirits it had nurtured were at the half-step supreme stage. Those who aren't at the limeter realm definitely won't be able to produce it. Green Leopard said excitedly. What's the point of being agitated? Even if there is one down there, we can't take it out. We might need Brother Night Demon to investigate this matter. Yan Hongmei said helplessly. She was very confident in her judgment, but she also knew that even if there were limeter materials below, they wouldn't be able to retrieve them. They could only look at where Night Sorrow was. At this moment, Night Sorrow was still recovering in the array formation. The three of them had no choice but to search for resources in the mass burial star zone. However, after searching for 30 years, they didn't find anything. They returned to where the ice river was. At this moment, the three of them started to panic when they saw that Night Sorrow hadn't come out of seclusion. After all, there were only about 60 years left for them. Night Sorrow might cultivate until then. At this moment, the barbarian king said, if Lord Night Demon doesn't come out in another 30 or 40 years, how about we wake him up? Let's wait another 40 years. If he still doesn't come out, we can only wake him up. After all, time waits for no man. Yan Hongmei looked at where Night Sorrow was and said. In fact, Night Sorrow had already been recovering and cultivating in the Eternal Divine Tower for about 300 years. After 300 years of recovery, his body had completely recovered. At this moment, he was absorbing the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. On the surface, the water droplet was only the size of a fingernail. However, the energy and Taoist rhymes it contained were not weak at all. Night Sorrow had been absorbing it for 300 years and still hadn't completely taken it down. 300 years in the Eternal Divine Tower is 30 years in the real world. There are still 60 years before the next mass burial star. I'm afraid I only have 50 years at most. In other words, 500 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. 500 years should be enough. After absorbing for 300 years, Night Sorrow came back to his senses for a moment. He observed the fire origin and realized that although it had grown, it was still a weak flame with an ordinary appearance. After that, he entered the Eternal Divine Tower again to absorb the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. After Night Sorrow fully immersed himself in it, time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, 500 years had passed. In total, he had spent more than 800 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. Night Sorrow finally completely absorbed the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. After completely absorbing the water droplet, Night Sorrow felt that his control of the ice attribute had improved greatly. This gain was not inferior to obtaining the Jia Lin bloodline at all. Phew. It's time to go out and try to break the barrier in the sky. After spending a year to practice his gains, Night Sorrow left the Eternal Divine Tower completely. Seeing Night Sorrow appear, Barbarian King immediately shouted, "Boss Night Demon, you've finally appeared. We have a major discovery." "Oh? What did you discover?" Night Sorrow asked curiously. He had spent a total of 800 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. During this period, he had not paid attention to the outside world. "Boss Night Demon. We discovered that there might be a supreme grade material in this fused ice river." Green Leopard rushed to reply. "Oh? Are you sure?" Night Sorrow looked at the three of them and confirmed. Regardless of who it was, supreme-level materials were no small matter. If he could find it here, he naturally wouldn't want to miss it. According to our analysis, it should exist. After Night Sorrow asked, Yan Hongmei told him about their speculation. After explaining, she continued, but now, we only have slightly more than 10 years left. Time is too tight. How about this? I'll bring you guys and spend 1.5 years to explore below. Hearing this, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. He felt that their analysis made sense. Chapter 3370. If a supreme-grade material really existed, then it would be a great opportunity for him. Whether it was Night Sorrow or the others, they couldn't miss it. Although there was still more than 10 years before the mass burial frost arrived, they still had to take the risk. Moreover, after absorbing the Frost Sage King's energy, he seemed to be less afraid of the cold. After deciding to explore the ice river, Night Sorrow looked at the three of them and said, "Everyone, enter my space grotto heaven, I'll bring you down. If we can really obtain an extreme-grade material, I won't take it all for myself. Lord Night Demon, you're too polite, there's no need to do this. If we don't have the ability to obtain the opportunity, then we're not fated." Hearing this, although the Barbarian King was very touched, he still declined. Qing Bao and Yan Hongmei were the same. Although they were tempted, they felt that if they didn't have the ability to obtain it, then the opportunity hadn't arrived. Seeing the three of them like this, Night Sorrow continued, "We're all friends, there's no need to be so polite. If you're fated with me, then you're fated with the opportunity. Also, we might not be able to come up in 10 years. Oh? What do you mean? If we don't come up in 10 years, won't we welcome the mass burial frost?" Hearing this, Yan Hongmei immediately asked in confusion. "If there really is an extreme-grade material with the ice attribute and we successfully obtain it, then I'm confident that we can withstand the impact of the mass burial frost. It's just that we used fire in the past, this time we might need to use ice." Night Sorrow said. He felt that if he could stay in the cold ice river for a long time, he could use the power of ice in the ice river to avoid the impact of the mass burial frost. This was the confidence he had obtained from absorbing the Frost Sage King's energy. The current him felt that the ice river in front of him had become very intimate and was no longer as cold as before. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, the Barbarian King, Qing Bao, and the others were puzzled and chose to enter his space grotto heaven. Now, they still trusted Night Sorrow completely. After the three of them entered, Night Sorrow said, "After I absorbed the Frost Sage King's energy, my ability to resist the cold has increased a lot. Although it can't compare to the Frost Sage King, it should not be inferior to ordinary Frost Sage spirits." After explaining, he dived into the ice river. As soon as he entered the ice river, Night Sorrow felt a bone-piercing chill. But very quickly, he unleashed the power of the Frost Saint King to resist the cold. Immediately, a large portion of the ice was dissolved, and the remaining bit was forcefully withstood with his body. Then, under the gazes of the three people, he began to dive down bit by bit. The size of this ice river exceeded everyone's expectations. Although Yi Shan had sensed the aura of a supreme-grade material after diving in, he still felt that there was a considerable distance between him and a supreme-grade material after diving for 3 whole years. If I'm not wrong, we might have to stay in the ice river for a long time. It could be 100 years, or even 1,000 years. As long as we can withstand the mass burial frost, it doesn't matter how long we stay. However, would the ice river be sealed by the mass burial frost? After all, it was previously in a frozen state. It was only because we broke it open that it melted. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Yan Hongmei transmitted her voice to him. In her opinion, the only obstacle was the mass burial frost that was about to arrive. If the ice river would be completely frozen when it arrived, then Night Sorrow would very likely be sealed in the ice river. None of them would have an easy time. According to my judgment, when the mass burial frost arrives, a portion of the ice river above will be frozen. However, the ice river will probably not be moved. Our safety should not be a problem for a short period of time. However, if we want to leave in the future, we will have to break through the thick layer of ice. As the infiltration continued, Night Sorrow voiced his judgment. In this ice river, other than the aura of a supreme-grade material, he could not sense any other life forms. He felt a little lonely. It was in this state of loneliness that Yi Shang went into hiding for another decade or so. He also encountered the mass burial frost. Just as he had predicted, although the mass burial frost was terrifying, it only froze the ice river for 100,000 feet. The position he was in was not affected by any life forms, and the temperature of the ice river did not change much. He, who had absorbed the Ice Sage King's energy, could completely withstand it. After the mass burial frost passed, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice. The mass burial frost has passed. We can continue exploring. Since the mass burial frost is not a threat, then we have plenty of time. Yan Hongmei said excitedly. To her, this was a completely unexpected surprise. The Brute Emperor and Green Leopard were also in a similar mood. There was no time limit, and this was definitely a good thing for them. Then, Night Sorrow continued diving. This time, he dived for more than 300 years. On this day, after 300 years, Night Sorrow finally reached the bottom of the ice river. We've finally reached the bottom. However, this is not the location of the supreme-grade material. We still have to continue searching. After stepping onto the ice, Night Sorrow said a few words to the others and began to search for Lemmeter materials. Following the aura, Night Sorrow walked at the bottom of the ice river for 70 to 80 years. Finally, he found the supreme-grade material in a valley at the bottom of the ice river. However, just as he found it, Night Sorrow, Yan Hongmei, and the rest were all shocked. That was because the supreme-grade material at the bottom of the ice river suddenly came to life after they appeared and turned into a gigantic ice dragon. And this ice dragon's aura was infinitely close to the supreme grade. Then, the ice dragon released a huge oppressive force. You're the one who killed the Ice Sage King. The ice dragon's aura was released, and it immediately gave Night Sorrow a huge impact. He was almost frozen on the spot. After a while, he admitted, I'm the one who killed him. Night Sorrow knew that the ice dragon in front of him should be a peak half-step supreme grade 5. It was only a thin layer away from advancing to the supreme grade. Such an existence was no longer something that ordinary half-step supreme grade could fight against. However, he was already prepared to fight and was unwilling to give up resisting. Since you're the one who killed the Ice Sage King, then you've obtained an opportunity of mine. Tell me, what do you want? The ice dragon suddenly said word by word. Hearing that, not only Night Sorrow, but Yan Hongmei and the rest were also surprised. They did not expect things to turn out this way at all. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow asked, Senior, what does the opportunity you're talking about include? The opportunity I'm talking about includes a piece of extreme frost mystic ice. This piece of extreme frost mystic ice can be used to refine a small supreme-grade divine weapon. It also includes helping you guys. However, I'll only help once. The ice dragon looked at Night Sorrow and said. Being stared at by the ice dragon, Night Sorrow felt as though he had turned into prey. However, he was excited and said hurriedly, I don't want the resource. Chapter 3371. Oh. You can give up the Supreme State resources? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ice Dragon immediately asked in return. Compared to freedom, I'm afraid no resources are important. I choose to let you help us open the barrier. Let us return to the endless star field from the mass burial star field. Night Sorrow said without hesitation. Martial Yin Yang manga. For him, he could find Supreme State resources again, but this might be the only chance to leave the mass burial star field. Therefore, after Ice Dragon spoke, he made such a choice. You know how to choose. If you don't choose this, it will take at least 3 eras for you to leave with your own strength. Ice Dragon immediately said after Night Sorrow made his choice. After he finished speaking, Yan Hongmei and the others realized that Knight Soro's choice was very correct. Originally, they thought it was a pity not to choose the supreme state material, extreme cold mysterious ice. Knight Soro looked at Ice Dragon and said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior. We won't tell anyone that you are here. It doesn't make a difference whether we tell anyone or not. The people who should know will still know that I'm here." Ice Dragon sighed. Knight Soro glanced at Ice Dragon and asked doubtfully, "Senior, are you troubled? Being used as a divine weapon material by Supremacy Annihilation, don't you think I should be troubled?" Ice Dragon said helplessly, then continued, "All right, that's enough. I'll send you out." He was a divine weapon material that Supremacy Annihilation thought highly of. Putting him in the mass burial star field was equivalent to raising a pet. After he came out of seclusion, he would start refining it and make it into his own supreme state divine weapon. Now that the three supreme supremacies have not awakened, why don't you leave since you have the ability to break out of the mass burial star field? Knight Soro immediately asked doubtfully after Ice Dragon finished speaking. Do you think that Supremacy Annihilation will not leave a restriction in an area that I have the ability to break out of? Ice Dragon shook his head and said, "Besides, even if I can escape, where can I escape to? The world in front of us, and even the other realms, will become the property of the three supreme supremacies. Me, or you, who can escape from their evil clutches?" His words were incomparably pessimistic. But after Knight Soro heard it, he could empathize with her. After thinking for a while, he said, "Senior, as long as people are alive, there is hope. If you can successfully advance to the Lamita realm, perhaps everything will be different." He didn't directly mention the three supreme venerables, nor did he mention Yen and Yen Hengshi, because this was the first time he had met Ice Dragon, and he couldn't completely trust him. "I hope so. I'll send you off," Ice Dragon said and returned to the ice river with Knight Soro and the others. Attacking the barrier, a vortex-shaped portal was blasted open in an instant. He then looked at Knight Soro and said, "This is what I can do for you. What you need to do for me is to protect my home. My home is in the extreme cold of the fog region. If you promise me that you will do it, I will let you go. Senior, don't worry. I'll do as you say. We will do our best to protect your home." When Knight Soro heard this, he understood what Ice Dragon meant and naturally chose to agree. At this time, Ice Dragon continued, "You don't have to protect my home, just help protect my people. I can see that your talent is very outstanding. As long as you are not targeted by the three supreme venerables, you will definitely be able to do this. I'm not sure if I will be targeted by the three supreme venerables. But Senior has helped me, so I will do my best to complete your request." After Knight Soro finished speaking, he led Yan Hongmei and the others to bid farewell to Ice Dragon and flew toward the vortex-shaped teleportation array. After leaving the vortex-shaped teleportation array, Knight Soro, Yan Hongmei, and the others did not appear in the endless star field. Instead, they appeared halfway up the mountain of flames. Knight Soro could easily resist flames of this level. Looking at the top of the mountain, he thought to himself, "When my fog-breathing technique reaches the 10th level, I will choose to climb to the top and completely complete the hidden mission. Let's see what rewards I can get." At this time, the Barbarian King said excitedly in Knight Soro's space grotto heaven, "Ha ha ha. After so many years, we finally left that damned place. Lord Night Demon, if I remember correctly, this is the Mountain of Flames, right?" "Yes. This is the Mountain of Flames. What plans do you have for the few of you?" After calming down, Knight Soro asked and added, "If you have your own matters to attend to, I won't force you to stay. The agreement inside can be completely cancelled. There's no need to cancel it. We will all work for you." Hearing this, Green Leopard hurriedly said. The Barbarian King also said, "So much time has passed. We just came out and were very confused. It's better to follow Lord Night Demon." Yan Hongmei thought for a moment and said, "My enemy is Nangong He. My only goal is to kill her. Lord Night Demon, if you can help, I'm willing to serve you. I have enmity with Nangong He and Andrew. I will definitely make a move against them in the future. After saying this, Knight Sorrow looked at the Barbarian King and asked, Barbarian King, why did you go in? I didn't offend the 3 deans. Instead, I offended an extremely talented student. This student has the talent to break through to the extreme realm. Although it was his fault at that time, the Academy chose to punish me. The Barbarian King said slowly, his words filled with resentment. Oh. A student with the talent to break through to the extreme realm? What's his name? Is he also cultivating in the endless sea of stars? The Barbarian King's words immediately aroused Knight Sorrow's interest. However, after asking, he sighed, because he thought of the longevity supremacy who had already fallen. He felt that even if he found someone with the talent to break through to the extreme realm, it would be useless. The Barbarian King didn't see Knight Sorrow's disappointment and continued, his name is Fan Tianming. People call him Tianming Lesser Supreme. When I was imprisoned, he was already a 3rd-grade half-step Supreme Venerable. Now, I don't know what his strength is or where he is. Oh. So that's how it is. Then, everyone, follow me back to the endless sea of stars. To tell you the truth, I just entered the Academy not long ago. I'm a newcomer to the endless sea of stars. Knight Sorrow didn't release the 3 of them. Instead, he brought them into the endless sea of stars and used a starship to fly toward planet Jialin. He knew that some of his friends should be with Jialin. However, after driving the starship to the periphery of planet Jialin, Knight Sorrow immediately flew into a rage. Because at this time, planet Jialin was similar to Night Devil. All the buildings had been destroyed. Seeing the scene in front of him, Knight Sorrow immediately sent a voice transmission to Jialin. Jialin, can you receive it? Chapter 3372. However, after Yi Shang sent the voice transmission, there was no response from Jialin even after a long time. He stood there and pondered for a moment before leaving the endless star ocean to look for Vice Dean Ji Xian. After all, before leaving, Vice Dean Ji Xian had promised to take care of Jialin and the others. On the way, Yan Hongmei asked, did the destroyed astral body belong to your friend? Yes. Not only is the owner of the astral body my friend, but my other friends were with her. I wonder how they are now. Knight Sorrow thought of Bai Mei Sanren and the others and said worriedly. When he left, Bai Mei Sanren, Xian Nian, Ape Tianlai, and the others were all with Jialin. If something happened to Jialin, they would not be spared. I hope Lord Night Devil's friends are all safe. The Barbarian King immediately comforted Yi Shang when he saw that his brows were furrowed in anger. He felt that Knight Sorrow's killing intent was so terrifying that even a cultivator who was half a step to the Supreme Realm felt a chill in his heart. At this moment, Green Leopard said, Lord Night Devil. Whether your friends are fine or not, we will help you kill them. You're right. This time, whether my friends are dead or not, I will make the people who targeted us pay with their lives. As they flew towards Vice Principal Ji Xian's temporary residence, Yi Shang said each word clearly. Since he came to the middle courtyard, he had been targeted. He felt that it was time to teach them a lesson. The endless star ocean was not far from Vice Dean Ji Xian's palace. After leaving the middle courtyard, Knight Sorrow quickly arrived outside the palace. At this moment, the 2 boys outside the palace had seen Yi Shang before. When they saw him, they immediately exclaimed, Lord Night Devil, you came out of the disorderly burial star zone? It's me. Help me inform the teacher. Yi Shang ordered as he glanced at the 2 boys. Yes. Lord Night Devil. Although the 2 boys could not tell whether Night Sorrow was real or not, they still chose to report it. Not long after, Vice Dean Ji Xian personally flew out. He sized up Night Sorrow and found that it was indeed his real body. He immediately said excitedly, Night Devil. You're out, you're really out. That's great. During the years you were gone, there wasn't a single day that this old man didn't think about you. Thank you for your concern, teacher. I wonder if Jia Lin and my other friends are with teacher? Night Sorrow replied politely and went straight to the point. After the incident with Jia Lin's astral body, he stayed here to recuperate. But a few years ago, something happened to your Night Demon Peak. She and your friend went to help. Vice Dean Ji Xian continued, you don't have to worry. When she left, she took my jade talisman with her. Since it hasn't been activated yet, it probably hasn't encountered any danger. Although he didn't say much, he had already explained the general situation. Night Sorrow, who had heard everything, immediately expressed his gratitude. Thank you, teacher, for saving Jia Lin and my friends. I'm going to look for them now. I'll catch up with you another day. Go ahead. However, those people will definitely find trouble with you if they know that you came out of the Chaos Burial Star region. This is my jade talisman. If Andrew and Nangong make things difficult for you, you can summon me immediately. You have already regained your freedom and identity after coming out of the Chaos Burial Star region. They no longer have any reason to target you. As Ji Xian spoke, he took out a jade talisman and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took the jade talisman and thanked him. Thank you for taking care of me, teacher. Then, he flew in the direction of Night Demon Peak. Although Jia Lin didn't summon Vice Dean Ji Xian, this didn't mean that everyone on Night Demon Peak was safe. The people he was most worried about were the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World and the Eternal Ancient Desolate World. He was afraid that something would happen to Shao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword Sect, and the others. On the way to Night Demon Peak, Night Sorrow asked, do the three of you have any connections with the Lin family? I know the Lin family, but I have nothing to do with them. Hearing this question, the Barbarian King immediately answered. Then, Green Leopard also said, I don't know anyone from the Lin family either, but I've heard that their power is very huge and they have a lot of foundation. I have nothing to do with the Lin family, Yan Hongmei also said. Very good. This time, we should make a move on the Lin family and control all of their power. After Night Sorrow found out that the three of them had nothing to do with the Lin family, he immediately opened his mouth and said. If something happened on Night Demon Peak, regardless of whether it was related to the Lin family or not, he was prepared to make a move at this time. According to the information he had heard, the Lin family didn't have many half-step Supreme Realm experts. There were only 2 known of them. With their current strength, they should be able to contend against them in terms of peak combat strength. If their tactics were right, they should be able to destroy them. After occupying their territory, Night Sorrow could hide Shao Tianxian and the others in peace and let them cultivate properly. After all, the territory controlled by the Lin family was much larger than Night Demon Peak. In comparison, Night Demon Peak's target was too obvious. Hearing this, Yan Hongmei said, this Lin family has developed for tens of millions of years. I'm afraid they have a foundation that we don't know about. They shouldn't be easy to deal with, right? They definitely have a foundation, but I have a way to get the support of a faction. As Yi Shang replied, he sped up his journey. At this moment, the Barbarian King asked, by the way, Lord Night Demon, we've been trapped in the Chaos Burial Star Zone for so long. How much has the strength of the cultivators in the outside world grown? I remember that before I was imprisoned, the Lin family was a famous family in the fog area. Their strength was not to be underestimated. The old patriarch of the Lin family was also a general under Supremacy Mia. His strength was unfathomable. To be honest, I'm not too sure. But I have a reason to make a move. Night Sorrow thought about this question for a moment and did not say anything. However, the Barbarian King's words made him alert. He knew that the Lin family was definitely not as simple as they seemed on the surface. However, now that he had come out, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. Night Demon Peak would definitely be greatly affected, so he had to make a move against the Lin family. Alright. Since Lord Night Demon wants to make a move against the Lin family, let's do it together. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the Barbarian King said with a smile. Yan Hongmei and Qing Bao also did not object. Thank you very much. Night Sorrow thanked them and then found that Night Demon Peak was already in front of him. So he said, "Let me see how my friends are doing first. Let's talk later." "All right. Lord Night Demon, you should do your own things first." The Barbarian King replied. Night Sorrow responded and released his divine soul power to investigate the situation of Night Demon Peak. With this investigation, he found that there were many fewer people in Night Demon Peak. He immediately felt worried. Chapter 3373. Shao Tianxian and many people from the Myriad Sword sect were not on Night Demon Peak. Jia Lin and Dancing Lady were not there either. However, Yun Yi was there. Night Sorrow immediately found Yun Yi, who was cultivating alone in his room, and asked, "Brother Yun Yi, what happened in Night Demon Peak while I was away?" Brother Yi, you're back? Great, that's great." Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Yun Yi immediately stood up excitedly. After greeting him, he continued, "Many things have happened in Night Demon Peak in the hundreds of years that you were away. First of all, those friends you brought started to become heavenly sovereigns after cultivating for more than 100 years. Oh. They started to become heavenly sovereigns from earthly sovereigns in just over 100 years? Hearing this, even Night Sorrow was a little surprised. Because Shao Tianxian and the rest had improved so quickly that it was completely beyond his imagination. After all, when he first came to the foggy area, his cultivation had improved so quickly because of all kinds of resources. Now, the people from the two realms had not obtained any good resources yet. Yes. The speed of their strength improvement is completely shocking, and their foundations are very solid. Moreover, there are no flaws in their auras. No one can see any flaws. Yin Yi continued to speak vaguely. What he meant was that Shao Tianxian and the rest already had the aura of the foggy area, and no one could see their true identities. Hearing this, Night Sorrow suddenly understood and thought to himself, "It seems that Senior Yen Hang's foggy breathing technique is working. This cultivation method is really amazing. It's better than thousands of resources. Wonderful." Then, he opened the dragon's eyes and observed Yun Yi. He found that Yun Yi was already at the peak of Upper Heavenly Sovereign, and was only a step away from half-step to Supreme Realm. He immediately asked, "Brother Yun Yi, the speed of your strength improvement is also not bad. Is it because of the foggy breathing technique?" "Yes. In a situation where resources are limited, my strength can improve further because of the foggy breathing technique that you taught me. Practicing this breathing technique in the foggy area will yield twice the results with half the effort. It's very magical." Yun Yi admitted and continued, "I think those friends of yours should also be able to improve their strength so quickly because of this cultivation method." "Yes. This should be the case." At the same time, when they were in other realms, the spiritual energy was not as abundant as the foggy area. This should be one of the reasons. Right, where are they now? After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he asked about the whereabouts of Shao Tianxian and the Myriad Sword sect. "We'll have to start from a few decades ago when we were ambushed by the Lin clan." Yin Yi slowly told him about the battle between Night Demon Peak and the Lin clan. It turned out that one of Su Zhetian's subordinates was a member of the Lin clan. Dozens of years ago, he returned home and told everyone about Night Sorrow's exile. After that, the Lin clan began to secretly attack Night Demon Peak while the Slaughterer Academy turned a blind eye to their actions. In the first ambush, they sent out more than 200 heavenly sovereigns. In the past, Yin Yi and his subordinates would definitely not be able to withstand the ambush of more than 200 heavenly sovereigns. However, dozens of years ago, Shao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword sect, and the rest had all become heavenly sovereigns. With their participation and the help of the formation, the people of Night Demon Peak defeated the ambushers of the Lin clan. After that, Yin Yi went to the Slaughterer Academy for help. Although Night Sorrow was exiled, he found Jia Lin. After that, Jia Lin, Whirling Lady, Su Lei, and the rest began to bring people to Night Demon Peak. It was a big blow to the Lin clan, who were targeting Night Demon Peak. However, the Lin clan later invited many experts from the Slaughterer Academy, which was a big blow to Night Demon Peak. As the pressure was greater, they felt that it was impossible to passively defend, so they brought Xiao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword Sect, and the rest to infiltrate the Lin clan's territory and started to harass them. It was because of this that the Lin clan was in a terrible fix and kept tracking Jia Lin and the rest in their territory. As a result, Night Demon Peak was temporarily peaceful. How many of them went, and where are they in the Lin clan? After hearing Yun Ye's words, Night Sorrow immediately asked. He felt that what Jia Lin and the rest were doing was too dangerous. If the enemies of the Lin clan and the Slaughterer Academy sent more half-step to Supreme Realm experts, they would be in danger of being completely wiped out. After all, Heavenly Sovereigns had no ability to resist half-step to Supreme Realm experts. The location they chose was at the Mirror Lake Island. It's at the edge of the Lin clan's territory, but there's a mine there. I'm not sure where they went now. However, they should have already infiltrated the Lin clan's territory. Also, I can confirm that they haven't been captured or killed. Yin Yi voiced his own judgment. He wasn't sure about the whereabouts of Jia Lin and the rest. However, according to the informant's report, they shouldn't have been captured or killed. It's good that they're safe for now. Hearing this, Night Sorrow was slightly relieved. He said, "How many Heavenly Sovereigns can we gather now? Including the people from the 2 realms and those we recruited, we can gather more than 200 within half a month." Yin Yi said. Although there were only about 100 Heavenly Sovereigns on Night Demon Peak, he could assemble a team of more than 200 Heavenly Sovereigns within half a month. Very good. Gather the team immediately. We're prepared to give up on Night Demon Peak and lead the team to attack the Lin clan. Night Sorrow said with certainty. According to his analysis, it should be very difficult to find Jia Lin and the rest. Why not besiege Wei to rescue Zhao and lead the team to attack the Lin clan and bring them great pressure? This way, it would definitely relieve the pressure on Jia Lin and the rest. In addition, after making a big fuss, when they heard that he had returned and was leading a team to attack the Lin clan, they would naturally find a way to gather. Brother Yi, the number of Heavenly Sovereigns in the Lin clan is about 10 times more than us. It won't be easy to attack directly, right? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yun Yi immediately reminded him. I know. However, with the Lin clan's influence and control such a large territory, their members must be very scattered. As long as we are fast enough, we can quickly get rid of some of them before they gather. Also, the number of Heavenly Sovereigns won't determine the outcome of the battle. Night Sorrow explained and continued, Brother Yun Yi, quickly gather the men. Okay. I understand. Seeing that Night Sorrow was so confident, Yun Yi responded and went to gather the team. In less than half a month, a battle team of 240 Heavenly Sovereigns was formed. And it appeared in front of Night Sorrow. Chapter 3374. Now, everyone, follow me to carry out a secret mission. Temporarily enter my eternal divine tower to cultivate. When we arrive, I'll tell everyone what to do. After Yun Yi had gathered everyone, Night Sorrow didn't say anything to reminisce about the past. Instead, he directly gave orders to everyone. Naturally, he wouldn't bring more than 200 Heavenly Sovereigns to ambush the Lin clan's property. Therefore, he was prepared to put everyone into a spatial artifact and sneak into the Lin clan's territory to carry out a swift and decisive surprise attack. Being ambushed by Night Sorrow and the rest with more than 200 Heavenly Sovereigns was definitely different from being ambushed by Jia Lin and a few dozen people. Looking at the Lin clan's map and carefully analyzing it, Night Sorrow determined that it was impossible for the thousands of Heavenly Sovereigns to gather together for such a huge property. As long as they didn't attack the Lin clan's headquarters, they wouldn't encounter any excessive problems. Yes. Peak Master. After receiving Night Sorrow's orders, everyone, including Yun Yi, instantly got ready. Not a single person had any objections. After all, everyone present knew that Night Sorrow was the backbone of Night Demon Peak. Very good. Xiaowu, take everyone into the tower. Let everyone adjust to their best condition. Everyone, including the cultivators from the two realms, got ready. Knight Sorrow agreed and let the Eternal Divine Tower take everyone into it. Then, with Yun Ye's help, he gathered all the cultivators below the Heavenly Sovereign level and put them into the Eternal Divine Tower, allowing them to cultivate peacefully inside. He didn't want these people to suffer when the rear of Night Demon Peak was empty after they left. Before leaving, Night Sorrow glanced at Night Demon Peak and said to Yun Yi, "If nothing unexpected happens, Night Demon Peak will completely cease to exist in less than a year. Looks like Brother Yi is preparing to do something big." A trace of a smile appeared on Yun Ye's face. However, there was a faint trace of worry between his brows. Seeing Yun Ye's worry, Night Sorrow summoned Yan Hongmei, the Barbarian King, and the Green Leopard from the Space Grotto Heaven. "Don't worry, Brother Yun Yi. As long as we don't officially attack the Lin clan's headquarters, we won't encounter any difficulties." This wasn't blind confidence. These three friends of mine are all half-step Supreme Realm experts. What? We actually have three such powerful helpers? Yun Yi was pleasantly surprised when he saw Yan Hongmei, Barbarian King, and Azure Leopard. He had never imagined that Night Sorrow, who had been exiled to the Mass Burial Star region for more than 200 years, would return with three powerful reinforcements. Haha. What kind of strong reinforcements are we? If we really fight, I'm afraid Boss Night Demon alone can kill all three of us. You might not know this, but he personally defeated an expert at the 4th rank of the Quasi-Supreme Realm in the Mass Burial Starfield. After Yun Yi finished speaking, the Barbarian King said with a smile. Then, he, Qing Bao and the others introduced themselves to Yun Yi. Knowing that Night Sorrow was now able to contend with a 4th stage half-step to the Supreme Realm, Yun Yi was simply speechless. Seeing Yun Ye's shocked expression, Night Sorrow said telepathically, "Actually, it's because of the power of merit. If I were to fight against an ordinary 4th stage cultivator, I would definitely be no match for him. Even if I were to fight against a 3rd stage Starlord of the Middle Academy, it would still be very difficult. That's already impressive enough. I remember that before you left, you had a hard time fighting against a 2nd stage Su Zhitian." Yun Yi praised him telepathically. Su Zhitian is different from ordinary 2nd stage Starlords. Those above him are the same. You can't judge them with ordinary eyes. In my opinion, if I were to fight against Su Zhitian again, I would definitely not lose, but it would be impossible for me to win easily. Night Sorrow recalled his battle with Su Zhitian and said with certainty. Many geniuses of the geniuses had gathered in the Middle Academy, so much so that Jia Lin and Huang Ji seemed mediocre. Sigh. The geniuses of the Middle Academy are all so terrifying. He wondered how powerful the elders and grand elders of the Academy would be. How powerful are the three Supreme Supremes? After calculating the strength of the Lu Tian Academy, Yun Yi couldn't help but sigh. Obviously, the experts of the Lu Tian Academy were only the tip of the iceberg. However, even the tip of the iceberg was much stronger than the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World and the Eternal Ancient Desolate World. In other words, they were much stronger than any other forces. Those below the Supreme Supremes are all ants. In the end, we still have to look at the top combat strength. Seeing that Yun Yi was somewhat pessimistic, Night Sorrow immediately comforted him. At the same time, he also began to study the map of the Lin clan while flying. In the end, he chose the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion as his target. The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion was an important place for the Lin clan to forge and sell divine weapons. It had a rich reserve of resources and was usually guarded by some of the most powerful blacksmiths of the Lin clan. Is it risky to choose the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion? At this moment, Yan Hongmei looked at the map and said. The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion was located in the central area of the Lin clan. It was only half a month's journey from the Lin clan's main camp. Haha. I want to make a move and make a show of strength. An ordinary place is not interesting. Night Sorrow transmitted his voice. At this moment, he had already come out of the Eternal Divine Tower and was using his speed to fly with everyone. I understand. You are trying to attract the attention of the Lin clan so that they have no time to care about Jia Lin and the others. At this moment, Yunyi saw through Knight Sorrow's intentions. Something like that. At the same time, it is also to make the Lin clan panic. It is like scratching an itch. It is not interesting at all. Knight Sorrow looked into the distance and said. They relied on flying here. It would take about 5 years to reach the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. Therefore, his first destination was Mushui City, which was 7 days away. He was prepared to use the teleportation formation in Mushui City to complete the teleportation and quickly reach the central area of the Lin clan. However, just as he entered Mushui City, he found that the teleportation formation in the city had been sealed and no one was allowed to use it. Obviously, this was because of Jia Lin and the others. Now that the teleportation formation is sealed, what should we do? If we act rashly, we will alert the enemy, right? Yunyi looked at the situation in front of him and said gloomily. At this moment, the barbarian king laughed and said, "Ha ha ha. It is just a few heavenly sovereigns. It is not that difficult. Boss Night Demon, let me out. I will settle the teleportation formation." Okay. It is best not to be discovered by anyone. Knight Sorrow said as he summoned him out. Don't worry. These heavenly sovereigns will not be able to cause any trouble in my hands. The barbarian king said with certainty. He took out a colorless and odorless liquid and threw it into the sky. Soon, it started to rain in Mushui City. Chapter 3375. What kind of technique is this? Yunyi asked curiously when he saw that the barbarian king had summoned a downpour. Summoning wind and rain is just a small trick. The important thing is that although the rainwater is colorless and odorless, it can make cultivators below the half-step to Supreme Realm fall into the illusion brought about by the rainwater. We only need to wait for 15 minutes and we can safely use the teleportation formation. After the heavy rain fell, the barbarian king explained. He was somewhat proud of himself. Knight Sorrow looked at it with the sea serpent's eye and praised, "Well done, the illusion is indeed forming." I can't be compared to Lord Night Demon. The barbarian king was very humble in front of Knight Sorrow. He stopped talking and waited for the illusion to form with the others. After 15 minutes, the barbarian king smiled and said, It's time, let's go. No hurry. At this moment, Knight Sorrow suddenly said coldly. Oh. What's wrong? The barbarian king was puzzled when he heard this. A half-step to Supreme Realm cultivator has discovered us. As Knight Sorrow said this, he looked in a direction and said, "Come out." You've discovered me? After Knight Sorrow said this, a female cultivator appeared from the void in the distance. Are you from the Lin clan? Knight Sorrow asked coldly as he sized up the female cultivator with the sea serpent's eye. The female cultivator was a half-step to Supreme Realm level 2, but her strength was not inferior to the barbarian king. She was about the same as Yan Hongmei and Qing Bao in the space. I'm from the Lu Tian Academy and have nothing to do with the Lin clan. As the female cultivator replied, she looked warily at Knight Sorrow and the barbarian king. As for the others, they were in Knight Sorrow's space and did not appear, so she could not sense them. Compared to Knight Sorrow, she was more afraid of the barbarian king. After all, Knight Sorrow's cultivation was only at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign, while King Man was at the level of a half-step to the Supreme Realm. At this time, the barbarian king looked at the female cultivator and saw that her strength should be about the same as his. He sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow, "Lord Night Demon, my raindrop illusion can only last for 15 minutes. Let's quickly take him down, and no one else will know that we used the teleportation array." You don't have to do it. Knight Sorrow replied telepathically. Then, he looked at the female cultivator and said, "We can't expose the fact that we used the teleportation array. Make a heavenly oath and swear that if you don't tell anyone about this, I'll let you go. You're just a heavenly sovereign." How arrogant. Hearing this, the female cultivator immediately shouted angrily. If it was the barbarian king who said this, she could consider giving him some face. Female cultivator, you don't know what's good for you. Are you forcing us to attack? The female cultivator obviously looked down on Night Sorrow, causing the barbarian king to immediately become furious. Oh. You're his servant, and he's a disciple of a big family? After the barbarian king spoke, the female cultivator immediately saw a clue. Cut the crap. Do what I tell you to do. Otherwise, you'll bring disaster upon yourself. After all, his means could only last for 15 minutes. The barbarian king didn't want to talk nonsense with the female cultivator at all. And the female cultivator had a stubborn personality. After being scolded by the barbarian king, she immediately said angrily, "Bring disaster upon myself? I'd like to see what abilities you master and servant have." After saying that, she took out a 9-section whip made of the spines of 9 types of rare birds and beasts. She whipped it toward the barbarian king. How dare you take the initiative to attack? You're courting death. Seeing that the female cultivator took the initiative to attack, the barbarian king roared and prepared to attack. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "Her target is me. You can't keep up with her speed." Then, he cast a divine essence trapping array at the female cultivator. He temporarily trapped her in it and then shot out the extreme flame mother gun. He said, "Judging from your cultivation aura, you should be from the endless sea of stars. You're a genius of the middle court, right? This time, I won't attack you, but you have to swear immediately." At this moment, although his cultivation was only at the middle heavenly supreme level, after absorbing the energy of the Ice Saint King, his strength had increased a lot. Although the extreme flame mother gun didn't hit the array, it made the female cultivator's expression change instantly. Although the female cultivator felt that Night Sorrow's attack wouldn't kill her, if Night Sorrow and the barbarian king attacked together, she definitely wouldn't be able to defeat them. After thinking for a while, she looked at Night Sorrow angrily and said, "This time, you have the advantage in numbers. I, Yun Qingxian, admit defeat. The next time we meet, there will be a battle between us. Do you dare to tell me your name?" "Night Demon." Night Sorrow looked at the female cultivator and said, "You're the Night Demon. You've come out of the disorderly burial star region?" Yun Qingxian immediately asked when she heard Night Sorrow say the name Night Demon. "Don't waste time. Swear a heavenly oath." At this moment, the barbarian king said angrily. If they delayed any longer, the duration of his illusion array would be over. "Okay. I swear a heavenly oath that I won't tell anyone about what happened today." Yun Qingxian said and swore a heavenly oath. "Let's go." After Yun Qingxian swore, Night Sorrow immediately looked at the barbarian king and said. Then, the two ignored Yun Qingxian and used the teleportation array to leave. After Night Sorrow and the barbarian king left, Yun Qingxian said angrily, "The next time we meet in the endless sea of stars, I'll teach you a lesson." As one of the prodigies of the endless sea of stars, it was the first time she had been treated so indifferently. Naturally, she was very unhappy. Night Sorrow naturally didn't know about this. After he and the barbarian king teleported away from Mushui City, they used the same method to teleport continuously. Finally, after 7 days, they arrived at the periphery of the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Although the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion used the word pavilion, from afar, it occupied an entire mountain peak. On this mountain peak, there were a large number of pavilions located above the clouds. From afar, it looked like an immortal cave. However, Night Sorrow knew that these were all illusions. Therefore, he said, "The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion is covered by an array. If we enter from the main entrance, we will enter a chain array. That will be very dangerous. If we want to launch a surprise attack, we need to break the array first." After saying that, Night Sorrow once again put the barbarian king into the space. He summoned the restriction-breaking hammers and asked, "Do you have the ability to break the array in front of you without anyone noticing? The other party's array is very strong, but given enough time, we should be able to break it." The male hammer of the restriction-breaking hammers said and began to attack the female hammer. Night Sorrow set up a concealment array for them. This was because the location they chose was very remote, and the guests who came to the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion could enter from the front. The people of the Lin clan did not expect that someone would break the array from the side. The restriction-breaking hammers broke the array very smoothly. It took about a day to break the array of the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. Then, Night Sorrow led the people in the space and eternal divine tower into the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. Chapter 3376. When they first entered, Night Sorrow did not let everyone out. Instead, he started to investigate the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion alone. After he figured out the distribution of the people here, in a restricted area of the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion, he transmitted his voice to everyone. We are currently in the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. After investigation, there are no half-step Supreme Realm experts guarding this place. There are only over 100 heavenly sovereigns. After I release you, everyone quickly exterminate this property of the Lin clan. After exterminating it, we will go to the next place. The goal is to exterminate all the properties of the Lin clan except for their headquarters. So this time, we're attacking the Lin clan. Great, this is great. We have tolerated them for a long time. That's right. The Lin clan has been bullying us. Finally, we can fight back. Night Demon Peak Master is mighty. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, they finally understood what the mission was this time. They were still quite excited. After all, the Lin clan was a colossus. They had launched several sneak attacks on Night Demon Peak, but Night Demon Peak did not respond on a large scale. Now that Night Sorrow had returned, it was obvious that he was preparing for a big battle. This made them feel very good. We have enmity with the Lin clan. But today, there is a rule. First, kill or capture heavenly sovereigns. If cultivators below Heavenly Sovereign do not resist fiercely, we will not kill them. Second, take away all the resources of the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion as long as you find them. Third, although there are many resources here, they are nothing. Don't risk your lives for resources. Understand? Before summoning everyone out of the Eternal Divine Tower, Night Sorrow instructed. Night Demon Peak only had over 240 heavenly sovereigns. The number could not be compared to the Lin clan at all. They could not afford to be exhausted. Yes. Peak Master. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, someone immediately responded. Very good. Remember my words. Kill. After mobilizing everyone, Night Sorrow released everyone. Suddenly, he launched a sneak attack on the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion, which was completely unaware. Not good. Alert, someone is attacking the divine weapon pavilion. After Night Sorrow and the rest made their move, the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion quickly became chaotic. After the chaos, many cultivators who came to the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion to purchase divine weapons all fled the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. Only the Lin clan's cultivators remained, and they began to fight to protect the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. However, none of them were at the half-step to the supreme stage. How could they possibly be a match for Night Sorrow and the others? In fact, Night Sorrow did not even summon Yan Hongmei, the Barbarian King, or the Green Leopard. He had directly crushed the cultivators of the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. Under such a powerful suppression, only a few of the cultivators under Yi Shang's command were injured. None of them died. After they had killed all the heavenly sovereigns in the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion and chased away the earthly sovereigns and some servants, they immediately began to search for various resources and artifacts in the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion. The Lin clan was rich and imposing. In the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion, there were thousands of heavenly sovereign-level divine weapons and defensive divine weapons. The heavenly sovereigns of the Night Demon Peak used these resources to arm themselves from head to toe. Very good. The Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion can increase everyone's combat power by 30%. Looking at the people who had come alone but were now fully armed, Knight Sorrow's face instantly broke into a smile. The situation before him was something he had thought of before he took action. Relatively speaking, the resources of the Night Demon Peak were limited. Naturally, it was impossible to provide everyone with heavenly sovereign battle armor, divine weapons, and secret treasures. Now that everyone was fully armed, they looked completely different from before. The Peak Master is mighty. The Peak Master is mighty. The Peak Master is mighty. Almost none of the people from the Night Demon Peak returned empty-handed. Naturally, they were very happy. The Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion has been destroyed. Our next target is the Lin Clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak. As for what the goal is, you should know. We already have divine weapons. Let's replenish some elixirs. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he led the group to the Lin Clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak. Their whereabouts had been exposed and reported to the head of the Lin Clan. However, the Lin Clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak was only a 3-day journey from the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. By the time the Lin Clan sent out a large number of people, it was already too late to stop Knight Sorrow and the rest. In less than 6 hours, Knight Sorrow led the group to destroy the Lin Clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak, completely flattening the Lin Clan's sacred place for refining elixirs. Bastard! Who is so daring to openly launch an attack on my Lin Clan? Is it Jia Lin and the rest? They learned that the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion and the Lin Clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak were both destroyed in a short 3 days. Moreover, 20% of the clan's divine weapons and elixirs were all snatched away. The Lin Clan's clan leader and elders were all furious. Clan leader, according to the witnesses, the one who attacked this time was not Jia Lin and the rest from the Lu Tian Academy. The leader is the Peak Master of the Night Demon Peak, Night Demon. One of the elders immediately said when he saw the clan leader's rage. Night Demon Peak's Peak Master, Night Demon? Wasn't he exiled to the mass burial divine region? Could he have escaped? The Lin Clan's new clan leader, Lin Shao, questioned angrily when he heard the news of Knight Sorrow's appearance. He had advanced a half-step to Supreme Realm more than 100 years ago and took over the position of clan leader of the Lin Clan. He did not expect such a thing to happen right before his eyes after only 100 years. Elder Lin Dongming replied, "From the portrait, it's indeed Night Demon. He must have escaped from the mass burial star region. We should have ignored the Lu Tian Academy and destroyed the Night Demon Peak directly." Lin Shao said regretfully when he heard Lin Dongming's words. He then continued, "Wait here. I'll get father and the rest to come out of the mountain. Come with me to annihilate the people from the Night Demon Peak. Go to the Lu Tian Academy and invite all of our connections in the academy." He knew that Knight Sorrow was not easy to deal with, so he did not have the confidence to fight with his own strength. Therefore, he went to invite the family's resources directly. "Yes. Clan leader." Lin Dongming responded and left the Lin Clan. He went to the Lu Tian Academy to invite the family to invite people from the Lu Tian Academy. Their clan had a huge business. Through thousands of years of operations, they had connections with many students and elders in the Lu Tian Academy. While they were organizing their manpower, Knight Sorrow led the people from the Night Demon Peak to destroy all of the Lin Clan's mines. Including the mine where they obtained the Extreme Flame Phoenix Gold, all of the Lin Clan's mines had been destroyed. After destroying the mines, Knight Sorrow began to lead people to clear out the various forces in the Lin Clan. In an instant, the entire Lin Clan was turned upside down. Such a huge commotion immediately shook the entire foggy area. Chapter 3377. No one would have thought that the foggy area, which had been peaceful for so long, would erupt with such a huge commotion. While the Lin Clan was in a terrible state, the other major forces and the Lu Tian Academy were also paying attention to the development of the situation. The Lu Tian Academy originally wanted the Star Lords in the Endless Sea of Stars to deal with the major families and completely control the foggy area in their hands. But now, before the Academy had even given the order, Night Sorrow had already led his men to attack the Lin clan. This made Andrew and Nan Gongha very dissatisfied. They felt that what he did was alerting the enemy and were preparing to punish Night Sorrow for his crimes. However, now that Night Sorrow was not in the Lu Tian Academy, they had no intention of making a move for the time being. Like the others, they chose to wait and see. As for the Lin clan, in the month after Night Sorrow had attacked and destroyed some of their outer forces, they had completely gathered their forces. Including the forces they summoned and those they invited from the Lu Tian Academy, they had gathered a total of 5 half-step Supreme Realm experts. In addition, they had formed a team of 1,500 heavenly sovereigns. They continued to search for traces of Yi Shang and his team within the Lin clan's territory. While they were searching, Night Sorrow kept everyone in the Eternal Divine Tower and used the pills and cultivation resources he had obtained from the Lin clan to crazily increase his strength. He himself had been searching for the whereabouts of Jia Lin and the others. However, after carefully searching all the Lin clan's territory, he did not find anything. Night Sorrow speculated that Jia Lin and the others should have left the Lin clan's territory, so he gave up on searching and found a forest overflowing with spiritual energy to cultivate the fog-breathing technique. Lord Night Demon, what should we do next? After Night Sorrow had cultivated for a few days, Green Leopard, who was in the Eternal Divine Tower, suddenly asked. In his heart, he had a great hatred for Andrew. He hoped to quickly increase his strength and destroy him. Therefore, he felt that it was a waste of time. Night Sorrow, who could guess Green Leopard's thoughts, replied, I will cultivate the fog-breathing technique for a few days and then bring you to a place. When we return from that place, it will be the time for us to destroy the Lin clan. The Lin clan has been accumulating for tens of millions of years. They shouldn't be easy to deal with, right? We can still fight guerrilla warfare now. If we fight head-on, I'm afraid we won't be able to gain any advantage. Qing Bao said worriedly. It's all right. I have an idea. After saying this, Night Sorrow returned to the mountain that was only 5 days away from the Lin clan's headquarters and continued to practice the fog-breathing technique. After cultivating for about a month, his fog-breathing technique had officially reached the 8th stage. Now, even if he casually used the power of virtue, he would not be discovered by opponents who were half a step into the Supreme Realm. However, if he didn't want to expose himself in front of a Lamiter, he would have to reach the 10th level. This Lin clan actually didn't even search under their noses. After reaching the 8th level, Night Sorrow smiled and stood up. Then, he transmitted his voice to Qing Bao and the others. Now, I can change my aura at will. Even if the Lin clan sees me, they shouldn't be able to see through my identity. We can leave now. Where to? Yin Yi asked doubtfully. Let's go to where Ape Tianlia's clan is. Jia Lin, Ape Tianlai, and the others are no longer in the Lin clan's territory. It's very likely that they're hiding. The most likely place is Ape Tianlia's clan. That's because everyone knows Jia Lin but not Ape Tianlai. Night Sorrow voiced his judgment. Although no one left any clues for him, he felt that his speculation was close. If Ape Tianlia's clan was not there, then they could be in Jia Lin's or Hassa Lady's clan. It should not be far from those few options. When he heard Night Sorrow's words, Yin Yi suddenly felt that his thoughts were a little wild. He transmitted his voice. Why do I feel that this speculation is a little unreliable? After all, you haven't appeared for 200 to 300 years. I think it's quite reliable. They can no longer withstand the attacks of others in Lu Tian Academy and can only choose to leave. After leaving, they can only attack the Lin clan on a small scale. Now that they're leaving, they can only choose to go to a safe place. There are no more than 3 places they can go. Night Sorrow said with certainty and did not say anything else. He headed straight to where Ape Tianlia's clan was. Along the way, he met a few spies from the Lin clan. However, with the help of the Sea Serpent's Eye, he killed all of them. As for the Lin clan's large-scale troops, he did not encounter any. After leaving the Lin clan's territory, Night Sorrow used the teleportation portal and started heading towards Ape Tianlia's hometown. He had been gone for more than 3 years. They only arrived at their destination on the 4th year. In the 2nd year after Night Sorrow left, his Night Demon Peak was razed to the ground by the furious Lin clan. They had some connections in Lu Tian Academy and Night Sorrow was nowhere to be seen. Naturally, they did not care about this matter. When Night Sorrow brought his men to where the Ape clan was, he reported and confirmed that Ape Tianlai had really brought Jia Lin and the others here as guests. Soon, Night Sorrow was brought in by Ape Tianlai himself to be summoned by the clan leader. At this time, Jia Lin, Dancing Lady, Shao Tianxian, Myriad Sword Sect, and the others were also accepting the clan leader's invitation. After seeing Night Sorrow, the Ape clan leader, Yuanmu, said a few words of courtesy and said in front of everyone, Tianlai has already told me about your situation. Our Ape clan is willing to fight for the eternal supreme world. Purify us? Oh. Clan leader, don't you need to think about it? Originally, Night Sorrow thought that it would take a tough battle to purify all the Ape clan. He did not expect that Ape Tianlai had already done it. He was pleasantly surprised. One of the purposes of his trip was to purify the Ape clan's experts and then bring them to launch the final attack on the Lin clan. Think about it? There's no need to think about it. Our clan did not want to enter the foggy area at all. We were forced to join back then. We've long wanted to purify ourselves and our souls. The Ape clan leader, Yuanmu, said without hesitation. All right. Then there's no time to lose. Let me purify everyone. Once I'm done, you can start cultivating the fog breathing technique. Since Ape Tianlai had done a good job, Night Sorrow was naturally prepared to cut the Gordian knot and finish it quickly. After speaking, he began to purify the Ape clan. After using the power of merit to purify them, Night Sorrow realized that this clan did not only consist of the Ape clan, but also the Star Ape clan and a dozen other ape clans. They were all captured by the 3 Supremes and brought to the foggy area when the Eternal Supreme World was destroyed. After finishing all this, Night Sorrow and the others briefly caught up. Then, he led the Ape clan's experts, Jia Lin, and the others back to the Lin clan's territory. Chapter 3378. This time, the Ape clan had more than 500 heavenly sovereigns in the team, and they even sent out 3 half-step to Supreme Realm. They had sent out almost 80% of the clan's strength. With their participation, Night Sorrow's goal was naturally to uproot the entire Lin clan. This time, he did not sneak into the Lin clan's territory like last time. Instead, he led the members of the Ape clan and advanced towards the Lin clan's old nest in an imposing manner. While flying in the void, Jia Lin said embarrassedly, My Jia Lin clan has a small population, and we like to travel, so there aren't many people in the clan. We shouldn't be of much help in this battle. The few of us are enough to deal with the Lin clan. Night Sorrow used the Sea Serpent's Eye to observe Jia Lin and found that she had advanced a half-step to Supreme Realm's 2nd stage. He immediately congratulated her. We didn't have a chance to talk just now. Congratulations, your strength has advanced a half-step to Supreme Realm's 2nd stage. What kind of opportunity did you get to raise your strength so quickly? I didn't get any special resources. I just absorbed some essence of heaven and earth. I realized that the foggy area seems to be different from before. Essence of heaven and earth is often found, and many heavenly sovereigns have advanced a half-step to Supreme Realm in the past 100 years. Some half-step to Supreme Realm experts originally had a slow increase in strength. But in the past 100 years, it has changed. Jia Lin looked at Night Sorrow and continued, Teacher Ji Xian has been stuck at half-step to Supreme Realm 4th stage for countless years. But when I left Lu Tian Academy, he told me that he had obtained a lot of essence and would soon advance to 5th stage. The same situation was happening to other people as well. If not for that, I'm afraid some of your friends wouldn't be able to advance to Heavenly Sovereign now. There have been changes in heaven and earth? I just returned, so it's not too obvious. But there are many half-step to Supreme Realm experts in front of us. I heard that 2 or 3 half-step to Supreme Realm experts in the Lin clan have advanced successfully recently. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow said. At this moment, Jia Lin spoke again. I have a feeling that this is not so simple, as if something big is going to happen. The foggy area has never been like this before. Let's take it one step at a time. Maybe the difficulty of cultivation will be lowered, and many people will climb the steps of the Supreme Realm. It's a good thing. What the people of the Eternal Supreme World and the Eternal Ancient Desolate World lacked the most was time. Night Sorrow felt that the sudden change in the fog was definitely a good thing for them. Perhaps this would allow him to break through to the Lammeter state even faster. Maybe. Jia Lin replied and fell into deep thought. After that, Night Sorrow began to catch up with his friends. After all, they hadn't seen each other for 200 years. Amidst the joking atmosphere, a group of 700 to 800 people marched towards the Lin clan's territory in a grandiose manner. In the process of their journey, within the territory of the Lin clan, the new clan head of the Lin clan, Lin Xiao, was so angry that he nearly exploded because he couldn't find Night Sorrow. He even sent someone to Lu Tian Academy to challenge Night Sorrow. Furthermore, at the location of Night Demon Peak, he set up a memorial arch for the Night Demon Cowardly Child. It attracted a lot of people to watch. Seeing that the memorial archway was of no use, Lin Xiao began to let the people of the Lin clan sing operas near the memorial archway every day. The plot of the opera was naturally to smear Night Sorrow and Night Demon Peak. Furthermore, someone recorded the opera with an image stone and spread it throughout the fog. Soon, these image stones were sent to Night Sorrow, who was hurrying on his way. Seeing the contents of these image stones, Night Sorrow laughed instead of being angry. At that time, I was near the Lin clan's lair, so they didn't search carefully. Now that I've left, they're starting to do this nonsense. How laughable. Clearly, he didn't care about this matter at all. On the other hand, when Myriad Sword Sect, the Barbarian King, and the others saw the contents of the image stones, they were all furious. To them, insulting Night Sorrow was provoking them. After thinking about it for about an entire day, Myriad Sword Sect said, how about this, we enter the Eternal Divine Tower again, and you'll go alone and smash this stage. I'm sure it'll definitely attract the Lin clan's attention. Then, under the circumstances of luring the tiger away from the mountain, we'll directly destroy their lair. I didn't expect that after a few years, you'd also understand tactics. Hearing Myriad Sword Sect's words, Xiao Tianxian immediately laughed out loud. In the past, Myriad Sword Sect would choose to charge forward no matter what he encountered. Now, he knew how to turn. Perhaps this is because I taught him well. At this moment, Yuan Fengxue interrupted. Now that she was married to Myriad Sword Sect, because she had something to worry about, Myriad Sword Sect gradually became more stable. Haha. Of course, of course. Myriad Sword Sect looked at Yuan Fengxue and laughed. Then, he looked at Night Sorrow and said, Brother Yi, what do you think of my idea? Alright, we'll do as you say and attack the Lin clan. To Night Sorrow, with so many helpers, he could deal with the Lin clan however he wanted. However, Myriad Sword Sect's idea would probably make the Lin clan the most unhappy, so he directly agreed to it. Then, he used the Eternal Divine Tower to store everyone and rushed directly to Night Devil Peak. When Night Sorrow arrived at Night Devil Peak, the raised Night Devil Peak had simply become a nearby scenic spot. After the Lin clan people started singing, it attracted countless people to watch. Because Night Sorrow changed his aura and appearance, standing in the middle of the crowd, he was not discovered by the Lin clan people. Standing below the stage and watching for a while, a trace of sullen anger immediately emerged on his face. Because not only did the Lin clan people insult him, they also insulted his parents. Damn it. A ruthless feeling flashed across Night Sorrow's heart, then he threw some black thorn crystals on the stage. He said, if you sing well, I'll buy you a coffin. Who is it? How dare you act rashly in my Lin clan's territory? After Yi Shang threw out the black thorn crystals, the people standing beside him moved aside to make a path. Seeing Night Sorrow clearly, the Lin clan people immediately rebuked angrily. People of the Lin clan, what big words! When did this Night Devil Peak become your Lin clan's territory? As he spoke, Night Sorrow changed his appearance and aura back. He coldly looked at the people on the stage. Night Devil? You're the Night Devil. After Night Sorrow changed his appearance and aura back, everyone who had seen his portrait recognized him. Hearing this name, some of the people who were watching the show all moved far away. The Lin clan people who were singing also retreated at the same time. They were all Earth Supremes and Sky Supremes, so they simply did not have the courage to confront Night Sorrow. Seeing the Lin clan people fleeing, Night Sorrow sneered and said, "You people of the Lin clan are a little different from the ones in the play? Go back and tell your master that since you seized my Night Devil Peak, I'll take away your Lin clan's territory." Chapter 33-79. To Yi Shang, the earthly sovereigns and heavenly sovereigns before him were like ants. Although he was furious, he did not kill these people. Once they scattered, Yi Shang gazed at the crowd that was watching the show and said, "Everyone, isn't it time to disperse?" As he spoke, he released his powerful god domain. After being suppressed by a half-step paramount realm deity domain, the surrounding cultivators who had come to watch the show immediately apologized and dispersed. After that, Night Sorrow summoned a dozen sky sovereigns from the space grotto heaven and had them build a new Night Demon Peak. Very soon, pavilions and towers were built on the raised Night Demon Peak. It looked quite impressive. Night Sorrow set up a trapping array and an illusion array on the periphery of these pavilions. The trapping array was the 5 bulls array and some other array formations. As for the illusion array, one could see Night Sorrow leading hundreds of cultivators to set up defenses seriously and wait for battle. It looked like they were waiting for the Lin clan to attack. The Lin clan cultivators who did not escape far away saw the scene and did not suspect anything. They immediately reported the situation to clan leader Lin Xiao. Night Sorrow led people to set up everything. After changing his appearance and aura, he led the cultivators in the Eternal Divine Tower and left the area of Night Demon Peak, rushing toward the Lin clan's lair. Before leaving, he used the Sea Serpent's Eye to look at the illusion array. After confirming that even he could not see anything wrong with the illusion array and that the image stone here could transmit the scene nearby, he went to find the nearest teleportation array with peace of mind. He knew that the Lin clan was eyeing Night Demon Peak covetously. It was impossible for them to rush over through the most primitive flight. From the time they gathered their troops to the time they started attacking Night Demon Peak, they would appear here at most a day. Therefore, he had to arrive quickly. As it was not his first time going to the Lin clan's lair, Night Sorrow already knew the route. They teleported all the way to the Lin clan's lair. About a day later, they arrived near the Lin clan's lair and observed the situation on Night Demon Peak through the images transmitted by the image stone. While he was observing, he had the restriction-breaking hammer break through the formation set up by the Lin clan in a remote area. He was clear that the Lin clan was a great clan that had existed for tens of millions of years. Their array formation was definitely set up very meticulously. He needed to make a move in advance. At the same time, through observation, Night Sorrow discovered that there were many more spies in the periphery of Night Demon Peak. They should be investigating the situation in Night Demon Peak. After seeing the contents of the illusory array, these spies clearly believed it to be true, and very soon, they lured the people of the Lin clan over. Although he was observing through an image stone, Night Sorrow quickly discovered that the enemy had dispatched at least 4 half-step Supreme class experts. He transmitted his voice to the people in the Eternal Divine Tower. They've sent out at least 4 half-step Supreme Realm experts. Their rear defenses must be empty. Let's begin. Kill these sons of bitches. After being summoned, Master Wan Jian said coldly. Just as he opened his mouth, Yuan Fengxue scolded him. I just said that you've become more mature, and now you're acting like this again. Foo-foo. Master Wan Jian laughed instantly. After the brief interlude, Knight Sorrow led the group and charged into the Lin clan's lair from the position where the restriction-breaking hammer broke the array formation. They launched a fierce attack. Almost at the same time, the people sent by the Lin clan to attack Night Demon Peak also took action. However, their first step was to break the array formation. By the time Night Sorrow and the others fought with the experts left behind by the Lin clan, the people attacking Night Demon Peak did not succeed in breaking the array formation. In a situation where their strength was unequal, the Lin clan instantly summoned all their foundations. The Lin clan that was rumored to only have 3 to 5 half-step Supreme Class experts actually summoned 9 half-step Supreme Class experts at the critical moment. This made Yi Shang and the others very surprised. Knight Sorrow observed the 9 half-step Supreme Class experts that were summoned. He discovered that among these experts, 1 was at half-step Supreme Class level 4, 2 were at 3rd grade and 2 were at 2nd grade. The remaining 4 had just advanced to half-step Supreme Class. These people had a common characteristic, and that was that their auras were not very stable. Including the 4th grade elder, they should have advanced not long ago. As for the Heavenly Supreme Class cultivators, there were not many, only 500 of them. However, these 500 Heavenly Supremes were all at the upper Heavenly Supreme level. Moreover, their auras were not weak, and they also had combat strength. Junior, how dare you attack the ancestral land of the Lin clan? How bold. Since you're here, all of you will stay here today. Lin Hai, who was at half-step Supreme Class level 4, was the ancestor of the Lin clan. Back then, he had followed Supremacy Destruction into battle and had not appeared in the world for a long time. On his body, there was a sinister viciousness that made people uncomfortable. Knight Sorrow felt a little awkward being stared at. After thinking for a moment, Knight Sorrow determined that this elder had an eye technique. That was why he felt that way. Knight Sorrow opened the sea serpent eye and looked at the elder. He immediately forced the elder's gaze away. He said, "From today onwards, the name of the Lin clan will be removed from the fog area." Junior, how arrogant. Kill all the invaders for this old man. Lin Hai's gaze was forced away by Knight Sorrow's sea serpent eye. He was furious and ordered coldly. "Let me see what kind of strength an old antique like you has. You guys deal with the others." Knight Sorrow said to Jia Lin and the others while facing Lin Hai. On their side, Yan Hongmei, Qing Bao, Man Wang, and Jia Lin were all half-step Supreme Class experts. Their combat strength was not inferior to the other party. Even if they could not win against 8, they would definitely be able to hold on for a while. It would be fine as long as he could kill Lin Hai quickly. Haha. After the battle in the Eternal Supreme World, I have not fought again. It seems that the world has forgotten the name of Blood Azura Lin Hai. Lin Hai, who was facing Knight Sorrow, gradually changed his aura. A blood-colored divine territory bloomed. Blood Azura Lin Hai? Then you have to die even more. Seeing Lin Hai's blood-colored divine territory, Knight Sorrow's murderous intent intensified. Clearly, Lin Hai had once slaughtered in the Eternal Supreme World. He roared and activated the Treastrimsa's secret combat technique and destruction divine ability. After raising his status, he shot the divine spear at his opponent. This was a probing attack. Knight Sorrow did not expect it to be effective. Insignificant skill. Lin Hai saw the divine spear and showed a trace of disdain on his face. He waved his hand and summoned a blood-colored scythe and slashed at the Desolation War Halberd. Boom! The Desolation War Halberd's spear light was shattered. Although you have just reached the 4th stage of half-step Supreme Class, your strength is indeed extraordinary. After seeing Lin Hai's performance, Knight Sorrow had a certain understanding of his strength. Chapter 3380. The Crimson Scythe in Lin Hai's hand was at the level of half-step to Supreme Realm. Moreover, he was an old monster who had cultivated for millions of years. His strength should be second only to the 3 vice deans of Lu Tian Academy. Under normal circumstances, Yi Shan definitely wouldn't be a match for him. However, the problem was that the Crimson Scythe was a divine weapon and the power that he used was of the evil attribute. Under such circumstances, Knight Sorrow would be greatly strengthened by the power of merit. He made a judgment and felt that if he were to go all out with the power of merit, he should be able to put up a fight. After a rough calculation, Knight Sorrow swung his golden heavenly halberd and destroyed the Crimson Scythe's attack. Top grade servant manga / Hehe. Junior, among the middle heavenly sovereigns, you should be in the top 5 since ancient times. However, you have not become a true expert. Prepare to die. I'll let you understand why I'm called Blood Azura Lin Hai. Seeing that Knight Sorrow had destroyed the Crimson Scythe's attack, Lin Hai sneered. His body exploded with an even more intense crimson color. He looked as though he had been fished out from a sea of blood. Then, he controlled the Crimson Scythe and used a unique skill. Crimson Harvest. The Crimson Scythe suddenly shot towards Knight Sorrow in the air. However, before the Crimson Scythe could get close, the crimson glow was already near Knight Sorrow's neck. Facing the crimson glow from Lin Hai's Crimson Scythe, Knight Sorrow did not take it head-on. Instead, he used the 9 defiant steps to put some distance between them. He waved his hand and used the Extreme Flame Mother Spear. One spear shot towards the crimson glow while the other shot towards the Crimson Scythe. After 2 loud collisions, the attacks from both sides were once again annihilated. What? Even the Crimson Harvest can't take care of an ant like you. Lin Hai saw that his unique skill was not able to take down Knight Sorrow. Lin Hai had a new understanding of Knight Sorrow's speed and strength. He instantly understood that Knight Sorrow's strength was much stronger than he had expected. If there were no accidents, he should have many tricks up his sleeves. After thinking for a while, Lin Hai thought, this little bastard's strength is shocking. Looks like I'll have to use some of my true abilities. After thinking for a while, he activated the Crimson Robe on his body. The Crimson Robe's Grade 3 Half Supreme Realm. Lin Hai then took out the Sky Crimson Scythe. He tossed the bell into the air and let it release a very pleasing sound. However, this bell was only for Yi Shang alone. The others present could not hear it at all. What Crimson Hai, Lin Hai's. After hearing the ringtone, Yi Shang instantly felt sleepy. He could barely keep his eyelids open. In the process of battle, if one's reaction was slow, they would be doomed eternally, not to mention falling asleep. At that moment, Knight Sorrow unleashed his power of merit, allowing it to envelop him. He wanted to use it to disperse the effects of the bell. Crimson. When Knight Sorrow used the power of merit, he realized that it had no effect on the ringtone. At this moment, Lin Hai, who had realized that Knight Sorrow's status was affected by the bell, once again used the Crimson Scythe to perform a new unique skill. Azura 10,000 Ren. When this move was unleashed, the blood-colored scythe immediately formed thousands of shadows in the void. After tens of thousands of shadows appeared, they all shot towards Knight Sorrow. Tens of thousands of blood scythes shot out, dyeing the entire void red. Fortunately, the battlefield was a little far from the others. Otherwise, none of the heavenly sovereigns would have been able to survive this attack. Night Devil, be careful. Jia Lin, who was the closest to them, was currently fighting 1 against 2. When he noticed Knight Sorrow's situation, he immediately transmitted his voice. If she could get away, she would definitely have helped him. Don't worry, I can handle it. At this moment, Knight Sorrow knew how critical his situation was. He immediately ignited his Phoenix Bloodline, Scale Bloodline, and Leaken Bloodline. After igniting the 3 bloodlines, he suddenly used the Gentle Dragon Roar to disperse the ringtone. Then, he used the 9 steps of the Defiant Heaven and put some distance between himself and the deep-sea roaming dragon. Then, he unleashed the Fiery Demon Spear towards the sky full of blood scythes. This time, the Inferno Demon Subduing Spear contained a dense amount of power of merit. When it came into contact with the blood scythes, it instantly incinerated them. Not long after, Lin Hai's attack was completely annihilated in the void. Blood Azura Lin Hai, your attack doesn't seem as terrifying as you described. It's your turn to receive my attack. At this moment, Night Sorrow roared loudly. He seized the opportunity to take out the Wuji Void Cauldron and stabilize the void. Then, he unleashed the Extreme Flame Mother Spear at Lin Hai. You used the same move against me twice? A junior will always be a junior. The attack methods you have are too simple. Although the Azura 10,000 Ren had been destroyed, Lin Hai didn't panic at all. As an old monster who had cultivated for countless years, he had many tricks up his sleeve and countless treasures on him. He didn't just have a copper bell. In the face of Night Sorrow's Extreme Flame Mother Spear, he mocked him. Then, he took out a golden bell and propped up a golden light shield around his body. After the golden light shield appeared, mysterious runes rose continuously and flew into the void. On the surface, these runes didn't look like much. However, after they appeared, they all shot towards the golden heavenly halberd and the desolation war halberd. After being enveloped by these runes, the power of the Extreme Flame Mother Spear was reduced by half. Together with the golden light shield, Night Sorrow's attack was neutralized just like that. Because of this, he didn't use the merit trap array that he wanted to create. Junior. Your attack can't even get close to me. You have to understand that time has created an insurmountable gap between you and me. Blood Azura Lin Hai said disdainfully. Then, he took out another secret treasure. This time, it was a statue. After he poured a few drops of blood into the statue, it grew in the void to the size of a normal person. Then, it came to life. Night Sorrow observed it for a while and realized that it was a puppet with a human body and a dog head. It was a half-step to the Supreme Realm. Although it had a dog head, its fangs looked very evil. After summoning it, Lin Hai silently recited a few incantations. The puppet with a human body and a dog head was instantly activated. It pounced on Night Sorrow crazily. A half-step to the Supreme Realm 3rd stage is no threat to me. Facing a half-step to the Supreme Realm 3rd stage puppet, Night Sorrow didn't feel any pressure. As he created the Divine Vitality Trap Array, he used the 33 Tao Words formula to slow down the puppet. Then, he suddenly used the Broken Void Palm and slapped the Broken Void Palm away. You have some skills. However, it's obvious that this is just a feint. Blood Azura Lin Hai laughed coldly. Then, he used an eye technique on Night Sorrow. Blood Eyes of Affliction. Chapter 3381. As soon as the blood eyes of affliction appeared, a blood-red world appeared in Night Sorrow's eyes. Immediately after, he felt his entire body being sucked into this blood-red world. Horrifying black blood flowed out from the surrounding void. Then, more and more blood corpses appeared and attacked him. He couldn't move at all in this blood-red world. He couldn't resist the blood corpses' attacks at all and was nibbled away bit by bit. Not long after, even the Blue Phoenix battle armor was taken off by the blood corpses. The feeling of being bitten made Night Sorrow feel that he had entered a blood-red world. However, at this moment, a strong power of virtue rose around him. With the protection of the power of beneficence, Shaoqun stealthily allowed Yi Shan to regain his freedom of movement. This is an eye technique. It brought me into an illusion. Fortunately, this is a blood-red world with a strong evil aura. Otherwise, the power of virtue wouldn't be able to break it. The power of virtue automatically protected him and removed the effects of Lin Hai's eye technique. Yi Shang instantly rejoiced. Lin Hai's eye technique was still very strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to trick him with the sea serpent's eye. At this moment, Lin Hai clearly didn't expect Night Sorrow to be able to escape from the blood-red world in such a short time. He smiled proudly and said, "A junior is indeed a junior. You lack battle experience. Die. Today, all the people you've brought here will be turned into my food." Blood Scythe. As Lin Hai roared, he used a special technique called Crimson Scythe. However, he didn't use the scythe in his hand. Instead, he sent out a stream of blood energy. This blood energy transformed into a giant blood-red scythe, which suddenly slashed towards Yishang. This blood-red giant scythe was very big when it first appeared. However, when it got closer to Night Sorrow, it suddenly became about the size of the golden heavenly halberd. It directly slashed at Night Sorrow's neck. Lin Hai, you think too lightly of this battle. At this moment, Night Sorrow suddenly broke free from his absent-minded state. Using his powerful frost energy, he directly froze Lin Hai's blood-red scythe half a foot away from his neck. After that, he had Little Five control the Eternal Divine Tower to absorb all of this blood chi and purify it. Little bastard, hand over my blood chi. Seeing his blood chi being directly absorbed, Lin Hai flew into a rage. Because this blood-red color was almost a third of his blood chi, and it was something he had accumulated over a few epochs. Compared to blood chi, you should be more concerned about your own life. Lin Hai had lost 1/3 of his blood-red color, and his aura had weakened significantly. Naturally, his strength was affected as well. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow, who had already ignited all of his bloodline power, could not help but tremble. Immediately, she unleashed an Ice-Fire Mother Spear at him. This move was something he developed based on the foundation of the Extreme Flame Mother Gun. It contained the surging power of fire and the terrifying power of ice. What a strong power of ice and fire. I'm afraid that this attack can easily kill a third-grade half-step Supreme Stage Cultivator. After the move was unleashed, Lin Hai's expression changed instantly. Lin Hai realized that the fire and ice contained in Night Sorrow's move were extremely terrifying. Under the condition that his blood-red color was severely damaged, it was very difficult for him to block it with his own strength. Under such circumstances, he activated the Golden Bell again and unleashed the Golden Light Shield in an attempt to block it. You still want to use the same move? Night Sorrow, who was facing Lin Hai, revealed a cold smile at this moment. Then, he unleashed the Merit Trap Array and the 66 words formula to imprison Lin Hai and the Golden Bell. Under the temporary suppression of the Golden Light Shield, the Ice-Fire Mother Spear struck Lin Hai's body violently. Boom! After being sent flying by the Ice-Fire Mother Spear, Lin Hai's upper body was instantly burned by flames, and his lower body was completely frozen. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow unleashed the Merit Trap Array and the God's Spear again. Instantly, the lower body was sent flying. Damn it! Little bastard, you deserve to die. Lin Hai instantly screamed in anger when his lower body was shattered. Then, the lower half of his body grew back at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, the newly grown lower body's chi and blood were much weaker. Clearly, he had used up a lot of chi and blood. At this moment, the flames on his body burned relentlessly. This kind of flame that was mainly composed of the phoenix fire and supplemented by other flames was still very terrifying when it burned. Not long after, it burned Lin Hai's dantian. He continuously used up his chi and blood to barely block it. At the same time, he roared, "Save me! Quickly attack that little bastard and save me!" At this point in the battle, Lin Hai understood that he was powerless and immediately began to cry for help. Cry for help? Why don't you think about who can save you now? Night Sorrow sneered at Lin Hai, who was crying for help, and unleashed an ocular technique at him. He used an ordinary ocular technique to blind his eyes directly. Then, he used the Golden Heavenly Halberd to shatter his dantian and destroy his godly soul before sending him into the Eternal Divine Tower. The entire process took less than 5 breaths. At this moment, the other half-step to Supreme Realm experts of the Lin family had yet to make a move. When Lin Hai was absorbed into the Eternal Divine Tower, Night Sorrow immediately sent a voice transmission. This Lin Hai has countless treasures on him. If you find anything useful, help me keep it. If it's ordinary, absorb it all. Okay. You can fight in peace. Hearing this, Xiaowu replied happily and began to use the power of the Eternal Divine Tower to check the treasures and resources on Lin Hai's body. After checking for a while, Xiaowu said in shock, "This Lin Hai, the resources on him are shocking. It's enough for you to break through to half-step to Supreme Realm." Oh. Are you sure it's not enough for me to break through to upper heavenly sovereign but half-step to supreme realm? When Xiaowu said this, Knight Sorrow, who was about to help, asked doubtfully. If I'm not wrong, it should be enough for you to break through to half-step to supreme realm. However, if you want to use these resources to break through to half-step to supreme realm, you will need time. Xiaowu said with certainty. Okay. I got it. Knight Sorrow responded and began the battle again. Before he joined, the battle was basically balanced, with both sides suffering casualties. However, the casualties were not too serious. After Knight Sorrow joined the battle, the half-step to Supreme Realm experts of the Lin clan began to fall one by one. Seeing the experts of the Lin clan and the invited experts being killed one after another, the heavenly sovereigns of the Lin clan were in a complete mess. With the addition of Knight Sorrow, Jia Lin, and the rest, the cultivators of the Lin clan were all annihilated. At this moment, Knight Sorrow said, if I'm not wrong, the team that the Lin clan sent to Night Demon Peak will be back soon. Let's set up the array and wait for them to come. After killing them, we will study the spoils of war. He gave the order and immediately started to set up the array. As for the others, they cleaned up the mess and waited for the next battle to arrive. Chapter 3382. The situation was similar to what Knight Sorrow had expected. As they had not been warned, the Lin clan cultivators who had come to support them quickly returned to their base. They had mistakenly entered the formation and encountered Knight Sorrow and the others, who had been waiting for them at ease. It was like a lamb entering a tiger's den. Even Lin Hai and the others were no match for them, let alone the cultivators. In less than 2 hours, these people were killed by Knight Sorrow, Jia Lin, and the others. It was worth mentioning that 2 of the Lu Tian Academy's helpers were actually Su Zhetian's subordinates. They had met them before, but the 2 of them had left with Su Zhetian. Su Zhetian, it seems like we have to settle our grudges in the future. After the battle ended, Knight Sorrow said to himself. He looked at the crowd and said, everyone, we took down the Lin clan not only for the cultivation resources. We also want their vast cultivation territory. From today onwards, everyone will integrate all their cultivation resources. Then, find a few suitable cultivation areas and build a training ground that belongs to us. From now on, this place completely belongs to us. Now, you are free to do whatever you want. What he meant was for everyone present to search for resources at their own will. Hearing this, everyone excitedly searched for all kinds of resources in the Lin clan's base. The remaining old, weak, and sick people of the Lin clan had been moved away by someone during the battle. Knight Sorrow was not too concerned about this. He felt that it would be troublesome if the other party's women and children were left behind. He could not kill them. If he did not kill them, there might be trouble in the future. Running away might be the best choice. While the crowd was searching for all kinds of resources, Knight Sorrow began to use the Sea Serpent's Eye and the restriction-breaking hammer to search for the Lin clan's treasury. He knew that a big family like the Lin clan, after so many years of accumulation, would definitely have unimaginable wealth. And the truth was just as he had predicted. When Knight Sorrow found the treasury, he was shocked by the accumulation in front of him. Not to mention the divine weapons and treasures, just the cultivation resources and elixirs alone were enough to equip thousands of heavenly sovereigns. This amount of resources was definitely not something that could be accumulated in a year or 2. At the very least, it would take tens of millions of years to slowly accumulate to such a degree. This was completely beyond everyone's expectations. In the following days, Knight Sorrow distributed these resources equally to all the cultivators who attacked the Lin clan. He wasn't stingy with anyone. This made the warriors of the Ape clan very happy. These resources were enough for them to become upper heavenly sovereigns. After distributing the resources, Knight Sorrow called Yunyi, Shao Tianxian, Myriad Sword Sect, Ape Tianlai, and a dozen others together. Now, all of the Lin clan's territories have been taken over by us. However, it was easy to conquer an empire, but difficult to defend it. In the coming days, I will enter a state of cultivation and try to break through to a higher realm. You can discuss how to divide the Lin family's territories. I won't interfere. I think that the other forces won't dare to invade us for the time being. After all, the Lin clan's annihilation is right before their eyes. They shouldn't dare to challenge us. Therefore, everyone could peacefully allocate their territories. After entering the territory, quickly use the resources to increase your strength. What do you think? After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Yunyi opened his mouth to analyze. Xian Nian agreed and said, "We are very mysterious now. It should be difficult for the other forces to find out about us, so they won't act rashly. I think Yunye's arrangement is quite reasonable. However, we are weak when divided, and strong when gathered. We need to gather again in a few decades. This is to prevent some people from sneaking up on us one by one. What you said makes sense. Let's limit it to 30 years. I think the other forces or some students of the Lu Tian Academy won't act rashly so soon. However, after a few decades, they might not be honest." Night Sorrow nodded and continued, "I'm in a hurry to cultivate. You can discuss these things properly. As for Barbarian King, Qing Bao, Yan Hongmei, Jia Lin, and the 2 half-step Supreme Realm Ape clan experts who didn't really fight this time, before I come out of seclusion, I hope you can take care of everyone. That's not a problem. Don't worry and go cultivate." After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Jia Lin promised. After that, the others agreed one after another, especially the 2 half-step Supreme Realm Ape clan experts. This time, they had received a lot of resources without fighting, so they felt a little embarrassed. Naturally, they agreed to Night Sorrow's request without hesitation. After settling the matters, Night Sorrow entered the Eternal Divine Tower. In the space that was 10 times larger than usual, he used the resources that Xiaowu had obtained from Lin Hai to cultivate. The resources that Lin Hai had accumulated were originally used to break through to the 5th stage of the half-step Supreme Realm. Night Sorrow used them to cultivate, and the speed at which his strength increased was still very fast. However, even with his extraordinary talent, he still spent more than 270 years in the space to successfully advance to the peak of the upper heavenly sovereign level. That meant that he was only a step away from the half-step Supreme Realm. As for the power of merit, although he had killed Lin Hai and converted it into power of merit this time, he was still at the peak of the upper heavenly sovereign level. However, he was still at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign and had yet to advance any further. After advancing to the peak of the upper heavenly sovereign level, Night Sorrow found a deserted desert, left the Eternal Divine Tower, and successfully passed the upper heavenly sovereign tribulation. After successfully passing the tribulation, he felt that his strength had increased by another step. His basic strength was almost at the 2nd or 3rd stage of the half-step Supreme Realm. When he unleashed his full strength, he could almost fight against a true 4th stage. After completing all this, there was still some time before the 30-year agreement. Night Sorrow re-entered the Eternal Divine Tower and studied the 100-word mantra. This time, he used more than 20 years to comprehend the 100-word mantra to the 99-word mantra. He was only 1 word away from true mastery. However, he could not understand the last word no matter how hard he thought about it, so he gave up. He returned to the Lin clan's old nest, which was the current center of the Night Devil territory, to meet Jia Lin and the others. After seeing everyone, Night Sorrow, who was originally a little worried, immediately relaxed. This was because in these years, no one had attacked the Night Devil territory. There were no casualties in the Night Devil territory, and it was rapidly growing stronger. However, after everyone had gathered, Jia Lin suddenly sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow. "Teacher Ji Xian came to find you decades ago. At that time, you were in seclusion, and he did not disturb you. He left immediately. If you have time, can you go to the Lu Tian Academy to meet him?" "Oh. Teacher came to find me? Since there's nothing in the territory, I'll go to the Lu Tian Academy." After hearing Jia Lin's words, Night Sorrow left the Night Devil territory and flew to the Lu Tian Academy. He wanted to quickly find out why Vice Dean Ji Xian was looking for him, you're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.